Yo, I'm Blake.
And I'm drinking.
And we're back. Dave, holy, wow. I feel so weird being here.
Yes, I forget how to do this.
Me
do we
too.
Look? Where do we look?
Off. A little off. Just
Okay.
a little off camera. Perfect.
What's up, man?
Not too much. We're back. It's our yearly... Apparently our only yearly stream. We're talking about our favorites and least favorites from the year.
Yes.
So many movies this year, Dave.
So many. You have watched the amount of movies you've watched from 2023 are the amount of movies I've watched total this year.
Oh, there's
in my life.
In your life ever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That checks out. That's fine. You know, it's fine.
Maybe pre-podcast, yes.
Maybe I choose to believe that you just like to filter your entertainment. You know what you're looking for, and that's what you watch.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I like what I like, and you can't make me like anything else, which is a line that I can't even believe myself because you have forced me into liking so many things movie-wise over the last 5 years.
I'm sorry. I've created a monster, and he cannot be tamed.
Yeah. Well, he can be tamed a little bit because when you see my top 10, you're going to be like, I have so much more work to do.
Yes. Pizzas. What's up, dude?
Pizzas!
Yeah, that's... Okay.
Huh?
Dave, this one's for you.
I don't get it.
Thor 4 is the best film ever, I think? Yes.
Anyway, I swear to God, Josh, if you stop giving away my stuff.
Well, fuck Dave, right?
I liked Thor 4. I wouldn't say I raved about it.
And you know what? I have to say, it was fun. It was fun-ish.
Yeah. Christian Bale took it seriously.
I literally forgot
Nobody
about
else
it until Josh brought it up. So thanks, Dad. Appreciated it.
Other Josh. There's two Joshes, and they're speaking to each other. It's like a feedback loop of Josh. The Josh back loop.
The Josh back loop. It's the feedback loop nobody wanted, but yet here we fucking are.
This segment is Dave Raved. I think we could just call it Daved.
Daved, yeah.
Yeah, save some time.
So we have we do have a lot to talk about tonight. Because I think last year we just did like our least favorite films, our honorable mentions, and our favorite. But this year, holy shit, it's expanding.
Blake has way too much to talk about.
I've seen so many movies. So
yeah.
we're talking our favorites, obviously, still. We're talking our honorable mentions, our least favorites, of course. We're talking most disappointing films this year. We're also talking entertaining films that we enjoyed but are also worth mentioning.
Yeah.
On top of that, we do have some, as of last year, there's a couple movies I wanted to see, and I didn't get to, but I pretty much saw everything that I wanted to. And then we're also going to talk about the slate for next year.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. I'm watching Pizzas try and disparage me in real time, and he's trying his best.
He's been saving this up. He's like, I've been waiting for you dickheads to stream again so I can just unload.
It's fine. I haven't even seen The Flash, so
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Heard it's wonderful.
Heard only great things.
Almost as good as Shazam 2.
That is my current favorite movie.
All your top 10s is just Shazam 2?
Yeah, it's all Shazam 2 because I have to really, I haven't seen it yet, Pizzas. I really have to appreciate the main actor going online and begging for people to go watch his movie.
How embarrassing, Zachary Levi. How embarrassing. Big fan of the show. You should be embarrassed.
My cousin did a movie with him recently, by the way.
Is she okay?
Nope.
Yo, thank you.
Hey!
Garage Golf League. That's
Thanks,
Jordan.
Garage Golf League.
If you want to watch some fun people of our age in Ohio play golf in a garage, follow Golf Garage League. It's really fun. I sold that very poorly.
Garage Golf League. You can't even say the name right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's on the screen.
I haven't streamed it forever.
Check the rust off.
I do have to say, Josh, so Josh is the one who's like, dude, you got to see Saltburn. And I was like, I wanted to see it, and then I saw it was on Prime. I literally watched it the night he texted me, and I immediately, as soon as it finished, I texted you, and I think you just left for San Francisco, and I was like, I hope this wakes you up, you little fuck. You gotta watch this movie. And you never responded to me. I just want to be clear.
Yes, no, I do that a lot now. Mm-hmm. You say a lot of things that make me go,
I'm fine with it. I'm used to the loneliness, Dave.
Well, also, to be completely fair, it's mainly that my brain is stupid, and half the time I get a message like, I'll respond to that later.
Mm-hmm. And don't, I understand that. I'm going to watch.
You just did. But,
there we go. I had to widen the camera out a little bit. Give you a little more elbow room. Also, show off my decorations.
That's the real reason he did. Don't let him gaslight you into thinking it was for
I'm
anything
Two
else.
Trees Blake again, like last year.
Two Trees Blake! Yes.
So I guess, whatever, without any further ado, Dave, did you take a tally of how many movies you watched this year?
27 of 2023. Total movies, I have no idea because of the podcast and some other movies that I have seen. Like Chloe and I just watched Die Hard for the first time. I thought I'd seen it before. I guess I'd just seen some of the sequels.
Oh, yeah, right on.
We watched Die Hard last night, so that was great.
Very good.
Very good. The perfect Christmas film.
It is. I fucking love Die Hard. Mm-hmm. We were talking a little bit off stream how I haven't seen it in about 10 years or so, but I need to rewatch it.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, the reason it's the perfect Christmas film is because everybody's freaking out and there's one guy ruining everything. John, what's up, buddy?
Hey, dude.
There's one person ruining everything for everybody, and everybody's screaming and crying. That's Christmas, right?
Kind of sounds like a little bit of your life, Dave.
Yeah. It's true. Chloe, you don't have to say it. I said it.
So for me, I watched a total of 191 movies this year.
Oh yeah, those 8 extra movies you almost put on really almost broke the back of the movies you've watched this year.
So close. Of 2023 movies, I've seen 54 of them.
You've seen as many 2023 movies as I've seen movies this year.
Well, I watched a lot of movies. I haven't had a lot of work with all the strikes and stuff going on. I've been very underemployed this year, so
fair point.
I watched a lot of movies. And honestly, overall, I guess that's what we should speak about that too before we get into the specifics. How did you feel about this year in film overall?
I thought there was a lot of good stuff. There was a lot of riffraff.
Sure. As with every year.
But I thought there was a lot of really good stuff.
I agree.
A lot of movies I really liked, a lot of movies that I didn't hate, and a lot of movies that I wish I could burn to the ground.
I agree with that sentiment. Very much so. Pardon my coughing. This has been a great year for film, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's just because I've seen so many fucking movies, but I've seen a lot of movies this year that will stick with me for a very long time. Also, a lot of movies this year that I pray to God I never have to see again. Because god dang, there's some bad ones. There's some trash this year.
There's some very, very... very heavy trash this year. Yes. Also, I would just like to point out, as Chloe said in the chat, she did have me watch The Fifth Element, and I loved it.
Okay. That's actually something I do want to dive into. You've never seen The Fifth Element? Fifth
Elevator?
The Fifth Elevator.
No, I have never seen The Fifth Elevator. Only the first 4.
So, it's a weird movie, right?
It's not as weird as I was expecting. It's very fun, and I think it was probably Chris Tucker. Yes, Chris Tucker's best performance of all time.
I agree with that. It's definitely my favorite Chris Tucker performance.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really, really great. 2023 is the year NSYNC reunited, and then shortly thereafter, Justin Timberlake got thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
and is apparently a trash human.
He's still stuck under that bus. They're wedging him out as we speak.
I don't know if he'll ever come out.
Nope.
The world's on Britney's side forever.
It's just part of the mechanics down there now.
It's true.
But I do have to say, even with all the strikes going on and all that stuff, I think there's been quite a great slate of films this year. And on top of that, I mean, we'll probably see some of the effects of that rolling into next year. But looking at the slate for next year, for 2024, there's still a lot of stuff coming out.
Oh, John. And Brittany, just very quickly, because we got a lot of movies to talk about. Britney Spears put out her book, and in her book, he made her apparently, like, very strongly urged her to get an abortion when she didn't want one. And then also, apparently, there's one quote where she said something about, "I'm ready, put it in." He said, "It is in, and I've never been more disappointed." Yeah.
That's savage.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
God bless you, Brittany.
Yes.
I hope you're doing okay. Big fan of the show. So I guess then diving into it, what do you guys want us to talk about first? Do you want us to talk about our favorites of the year, our least favorites? We also have most disappointing, just entertaining films in general that we liked, worth noting, and of course our honorable mentions.
Yeah, I am very excited to talk about it. I think least first is probably a great way to start. Yes. Anybody else?
Start the rage building. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Well, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
For this one, I have my hated. Mm-hmm. And then the next section is movies I had issues with.
Okay.
And number one, most hated movie of 2023 was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, I have that on my list too. On my list, I don't have them like numbered because all of these just fell so deep to the bottom that I couldn't possibly number how much I hated them.
Yeah.
But Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is definitely on there because... wow, there's so many things you could have done that would have been clever and fun, and this is none of those things.
No, it was really, really, really bad, and like the acting was bad, and like the fucking makeup or the costumes were
masks were bad, terrible.
It just it could have been really good. Like I think we had some kind of an idea about like an insane asylum.
Yeah, like we riffed on it when we did a stream on it about how this could have been a fun movie because I don't think the concept is beyond saving. I think it's a fine concept for a film. It's a scary Winnie the Pooh movie. Yeah, fine, sure, but like when you just take the lowest common denominator route to that end, it's just boring and it looks cheap and everybody sucks in it. And I couldn't feel good about it.
No, they relied way too much on the gore too.
Yeah, for sure. For me, one of my least favorite movies of the year, actually one we did for stream, was a movie called 65.
Yes, that's on my list too.
Oh my god, what a non-movie.
It was a very non-movie. Like, that could have been really good. I like the concept.
Right.
I really hated... I was so bent out of shape over the non-dinosaurs they showed.
Oh, my God.
And then afterwards, I Googled it, and apparently they were dinosaurs.
Whatever. I don't care. This is literally... So this is a film... if you guys don't remember, this is a film starring Adam Driver. Yes. Pizza's... dude... Oh my God! Also, the writers of the original A Quiet Place, who I think wrote and directed it. Yeah, and wow, it just like I feel like they had a great idea and then just like pitched their idea and didn't know what to do with it.
It's true.
When it came to like writing it, like, oh, how do we make this good?
Yeah, they didn't know how to make it good for sure.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misread your comment, John. I thought your comment said Winnie the Pooh had a budget of $1 million, and I was like, absolutely not.
No,
that's a money laundering scheme.
Yeah. The sequel has Tigger in it.
Because Tigger is now in the public domain.
Yes.
Okay, because it wasn't originally. Listen, I mean, lots of horror films like this are there to make money. You make money off of known IP. It's in the public domain. Fine. I have no problems with that. I just think a little bit. It could be clever.
Just a little bit.
It could be fun.
Come on.
Give me fun, stupid movies. Yes. A Clobie one, you're right. A shared universe, nobody asked for this.
No.
You're getting it anyway.
Nobody needs this.
January 1st is Free Mickey and Minnie Day.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it goes in the public domain.
Are they going to get it back?
They can't. They literally, Disney is the reason why it's now like 90 or 100 years or whatever. Copyright for things is 100 years because Disney. It used to be like 70 years, and now it's 100 years, and now it's expiring again, and Disney's just shit out of luck. And good. Fuck them.
I wonder what they're gonna do. Are they gonna do a Minnie and Mickey horror?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, there's already that stuff in development because Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was in development in preparation for those characters being in the public domain.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I guarantee there's already something in the works.
Fantastic. We love to hear it.
Love to hear it. But yeah, 65,
don't
terrible film.
Yes.
Please skip it if you remember it.
Yes. My number 2 most hated film, which arguably number 1 most hated film.
Okay.
Was Pieces.
Thanks, buddy.
That is a celebration worthy.
This one's for you.
A silent sip. Great. Arguably, now that I'm thinking about it, probably I hated this more than Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
Ghosted.
I have Ghosted on mine too. Fuck that movie.
I hated this movie. So much.
I literally forgot about this movie until I was looking at it on my list. It was like Ghosted 2023 because I take, I have a whole list and everything like that. And I was like, what the fuck is Ghosted?
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah. So to be clear, Ghosted from 2023, Ghosted is a movie starring Ana de Armas, and that's his name.
Chris Evans. Adrian Brody's in it as a very bad person.
Oh, yeah, Mike Moe's in it. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, wasn't this an Apple TV film?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a paycheck movie for everybody.
For sure. Because I don't see how they made one, but...
It was just like another... Yeah, exactly. Lest you forget the Gray Man. These are just so... That's a perfect example. Another one of these just like non-movies that just like... It's technically out there, but like nobody remembers it.
Yeah.
This is my most forgettable film of the year, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree with you. It just was so annoying and like...
Yeah.
Way too cheesy and campy and like... I don't know.
Second screen content. That's exactly how you classify Pieces. It's just garbage to fill the space and to keep the demons of your mind away for just a little longer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like what was the other one, like Red Notice and stuff like that. All those those Ryan Reynolds movies. This is why I dislike Ryan Reynolds. He's in all these kinds of movies that are all second screen trash.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
basically
absolute,
yeah. Basically,
you're scrolling through TikTok and Twitter, and you're like, oh yeah, oh they're kissing now. Oh, they're secret agents now. Oh, yeah. Rip the Twitter.
Rip the Twitter. Yeah. I will never dead name a human, but I will always dead name Twitter.
Always. Yes. Thank you, Pizza. Somebody understands me here. Ryan Reynolds,
but he's also really good. He just chooses to have second screen.
As I've said over and over again, I think Ryan Reynolds is a fine human and can be a good actor, but the projects he chooses to be on are not good.
No.
Or entertaining.
But anyway,
what else we got, Dave? Oh wait, it's my turn.
It's your turn. What are you talking about?
Here's what we got. Here's something I want to talk about. Let me blow through a few of these that I don't really want to talk about that much. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. Why? Why did I watch this? Who made me watch this?
I don't know.
I hated it.
Why did you do that?
I think I watched it for a podcast I did with a friend, actually.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why.
You have
that
another
movie
friend?
Sucked. I have a couple friends.
Okay.
One you can see, one you can't.
Got it. Cool.
This is a Hallmark movie, but it was fun because it was bad. The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. It was fun. Bad because it was so stupid and cheesy, and then every character's bad and they don't try to redeem them, and then it made me mad, and I was like, who did this? Even for a Hallmark type of movie, there's nothing here. You could have followed the formula, but you made every character unlikable, and then you tried to make me root for them. How dare you?
That's great.
And there was no Christmas involved either, which made me upset. So fuck that. Also, Luther, the Fallen Son. I think that was a Netflix thing with Idris Elba and Andy Serkis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about it.
Cool.
But what I really want to get into is a movie that is a little more recent that I think could have been fun, but didn't have any fun, is a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Really?
Yes. I fucking hated that movie.
Wow. Okay. I heard it was pretty good, and I also heard it was really bad.
Yes. No, so it's one of those movies that, like, I don't really know that much Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Like, I maybe played the game with my buddy Taylor, like, years and years ago, goofing around, maybe 10 years ago.
Wow.
And so it came out, you know, if I could watch it free on streaming, I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll put this on. And it had potential. Like, I thought it started, like, interestingly kind of enough, and then it just didn't do anything with it. Like, there's like the... So, okay, so here's the concept.
Okay.
Freddy. It's Freddy Fazbear's. It's like this old, like, Chuck E. Cheese type place, and Josh Hutcherson is the main character, and he takes a security guard job overnight guarding Freddy's. It's has animatronic bears and stuff, and the bears at night, they come alive and they commit murders.
Oh.
There are things I liked about this movie. I think the animatronics in this movie are good. They're Jim Henson animatronics.
Oh, wow,
and they're good.
okay.
They look great. I was also stoned when I saw this too, but I gotta say, there was a lot that could have been done with this film to make it more fun, and it just wasn't very fun for what is essentially a kids movie. I like seeing Matthew Lillard in it, but also the animatronics didn't really do anything. Like, they weren't in it that much. It's just like a weird, like, drama about Josh Hutcherson's character's dead brother from like 30 years ago. Anyway, I thought it was like boring, and there's a lot of wasted potential in it and a lot of fun things they could have done. See it if you want, but I did not like this movie.
I want to see it. That's in my list of movies I wanted to see this year, but didn't get around to.
Go see it, and we'll talk about it. I think Josh Hutcherson definitely had a fun time with this movie, but also played the character like every decision was the bad one.
Interesting.
Every decision was the bad one, and he played him fun-ish at first, and then I was like, oh, there's no real like dynamics to this character at all, so I couldn't really get behind him. But
wow, interesting.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, John, you're right. It had, it's a Blumhouse film, so it is kind of mid-budget, which they don't really make these kind of mid-budget movies anymore, really. No. But made a disgusting amount of money at the box office, even though I think it came out streaming same day too.
Wait, really?
Yeah, people wanted to see it in theaters though, which that's great. I like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Pete. It is schlocky. Like, I wouldn't call it a horror film. I think that's what it kind of comes down to. Is like, it's not really a horror film.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's marketed as such.
Yes.
So
it's not.
Well, just because there's no gore or blood doesn't mean it's not a horror film. Pizzas.
I agree with you, but this is not really a horror film.
Well, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I would say I'm still probably going to see it at some point.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm not saying, yeah, it's core audiences, younger kids who've played the games. I'm not saying don't see it, because if this is up your alley, go for it. But it was one that I was like, dang, dude, come on.
Well, I know you have your most disappointing movies next, but I'm going to give my last hated movie.
Yeah.
Renfield.
Okay.
I hated it.
You hated it?
I hated it. The more I think about it, I can't remember how I felt in the moment, but like looking back, I'm like, the movie sucked. The movie was so stupid.
I disagree. It's on my most disappointing list because I thought it had a lot of potential. I think, Nick Cage, obviously, and Nicholas Hoult, I think, are a great combo. I think they're a great duo. I think this film had... Renfield is what we're talking about. I think it had a lot of potential, and I think it kind of shit the bed.
Yes, it very much shit the bed in a hard way.
I did have fun with this movie, though.
Goopy diarrhea shit the bed.
That's an opinion. I did have some fun with this movie, though.
Wait, completely agree with who, Chloe? Me or Blake?
She's riding the line, dude. She's like, yes. I had some fun with this movie. I did. I think there was some stuff that definitely hit. But overall, I think it kind of fell flat. A lot of the comedy fell flat. I think what I liked most was some of the over-the-top action scenes.
Yeah.
Those are my most fun things about this movie.
I think, if I remember correctly, Awkwafina's in this, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, yes. I fucking hated her performance.
Okay.
I hated her side story with her sister. I thought it was stupid and irrelevant. This movie is about a vamp. What do we need this for? Who cares? Who cares? We don't even need her character, honestly.
Padding. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely go see Dream Scenario.
I don't know. I just fucking hated it. Mm-hmm. It could have been really cool and fun and funny, and it wasn't any of those things.
I understand that. Yeah, that's also why it's on my least favorite list as well. That was your last on your least favorite?
Yeah, but now I have my had issues or your disappointing.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll
go through.
I'll give you I'll give you my quick ones. Another one on my least favorite list in terms of horror films, especially. We're talking about The Exorcist Believer. The sequel to the original Exorcist, starring Ellen Burstyn. They drug her out of the grave and they put her back on film. I'm just kidding. I love her. And this movie sucks. This movie is. Telling me that. I saw it in theaters, and I think it was. I was on board for it when it started. Mm-hmm. I thought the pacing was pretty good. Like, we're kind of working our way up to this and stuff, and then it just. By the midway of the movie, you're like, oh wait, this movie has no idea what it wants to do. This movie has no fucking idea what's going on. And so the thing I did like about it is that the only thing I liked about it is that Ellen Burstyn only did it for a wildly huge paycheck that she could donate to. Oh yeah. She donated to I forget the charity cause. Good for her. Found out at the end. I was at the end, by the time the movie finishes, I was like, what the fuck? It was so long. It was so unnecessary, and it cuts to credits, and the first credit that pops up, a David Gordon Green film. And I was like, you fucker. You fucker. It's the guy who directed the new Halloween trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. I was like, oh, he has no idea what he's doing.
Nope. Zero.
He has no fucking idea what he's doing with this property. And you know for a fact, they're like, the Halloween franchise made all this money. Here you go, David Gordon Green. Here's The Exorcist. Nothing like a slasher film. It's a horror. You make it. And he was like, okay, I like money. And so we did, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I don't ever plan on seeing that. I could tell it was going to suck based on the previews alone.
I didn't want to see it. I didn't, but I got a group together, and we all went and saw it, and it wasn't even the fun kind of bad. I'm fine with fun bad movies, but so, okay, he shouldn't be directing them, dude. He should not be directing them because, the box office was not good for this movie.
I actually didn't even hear anything about the box office.
Because it did bad. It's just it didn't do good, and they're like, wait, we thought we had a winning combination, but you don't. Sure because didn't. He doesn't know how to handle the material.
Nope.
Whatever. Give him a good comedy. He did the Pineapple Express and a bunch of those movies, and he's a great comic director. Great. He's a good comic director. but don't give him the fucking sequel to The Exorcist, my friend. Dude, whatever. I don't want to talk too much shit. I do. But we need to move on because I hate this movie and I couldn't. It had potential. Whatever.
Fair enough. I see that there's one movie on your least favorite list that you haven't mentioned yet.
It's Fast X.
It is.
It is Fast 10. Fast X. I think the one good thing about it, which we talked about this on stream, is the Jason Momoa performance.
Yes, he was so good.
He was great. This is why it pretty much kind of just hit my least favorites, but mostly was teetering only because of that performance, because Jason Momoa was I don't give a shit, dude.
He was so good.
I'm just gonna ham it up, chew on the scenery, and get paid. And he did. Good for him.
And that movie's actually in my had issues category.
Oh, did you?
Had some issues, but I can't hate it because it is Fast Saga, and I have to at least like it a little bit. It's in my core nature.
Brand loyalty for no reason.
But I do know one of the reasons I do have it in my had issues, not like hate it, is because they heard us when we said space.
Yeah.
Really? And they're like, okay, fine, just explosions this time. They toned down the insanity.
They drove down the Hoover Dam. Like, okay, we'll take it off of space and just have you drive directly down the world's tallest dam. Mm-hmm. And everybody on the production team was like, compromise? Yeah.
Compromise.
Sounds good. This is great.
Yeah. That's how it needs to be, really.
Yes, I agree with you, pizzas. Modified lawnmowers. Funny. Put a NOS booster in a riding lawnmower.
It'll blow up immediately.
I will watch that fucking movie.
It'll blow up immediately.
Good. I'll watch that movie.
Well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and hop into my had issues section.
Okay.
Oh. So,
yeah.
Which is, right into your next section, too.
Yeah. Almost. We had one more movie on my least favorite, which is Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan outing. We did a stream on it. I fucking hated it. It was boring and could have been cool, but was totally insane. And the worst M. Night Shyamalan outing since the last M. Night Shyamalan outing. That's all I have to say about that.
Where did I have that one in mind? Oh, that's in my had issues.
Okay.
That's in my had issues section. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I will say that, I liked it for what it was. I definitely did have some issues with it.
Yeah.
Mainly the end. We were all waiting for an M. Night Shyamalan twist. We didn't get one.
I don't even care about that. It's just everything leading up to it. I don't know. I guess I'm not talking spoilers, but, there's 4 people who show up and knock at the cabin, and I'm like, oh, like based on exactly how they're presented immediately, I was like, oh, this person's this, and this. Mm-hmm. And then they play it up like it's this super mysterious thing, and then at the end, that's exactly what it is. And I was like, fuck this thing. Like, what the hell? You wasted so much of my time. Nothing makes sense. You're just padding the runtime until you can give me this shit out ending. Oh my God, I hated this movie. Sorry.
You did really hate it.
I did.
I didn't mind it. I didn't love it, but I only had just issues with it.
Okay. That's fine.
So, yes. Yeah, Chloe, I agree. It didn't need one, but we all were expecting it just because.
It didn't, listen, this movie frustrated me so much, and I didn't have that much of an expectation because I'm not a huge M. Night Shyamalan fan, per se. Mm-hmm. And just seeing the things that were being done, the decisions being made, just made me more frustrated. And then also, the one thing I remember too is all the tidal waves are coming and stuff, and taking out people on the beach. Yet the news has footage from somebody taking a cell phone video that they definitely got crushed by 1,000-foot wave. Yet the news has the footage somehow. How are you playing this? Yes, Knock at the Cabin, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God. I hate this movie.
Psychotic. We are talking about our movies of the year that we've seen, and we're currently transitioning from least favorite to had issues,
and what I call my disappointing movies of the year.
Yes.
So after somebody captured the stream. Sorry, I'm such a fucking idiot.
I will say. Mm-hmm. We got 2 out of mine. My biggest disappointment / had issues movie was yes, I agree with that, John. Yeah. Was John Wick 4.
Okay, that's in my disappointing movies too. Yes. John Wick 4. John Wick Chapter 4. We watched this for stream when it came out. And I wouldn't call myself a big John Wick fan. I really like the first one. I may have seen the second one, definitely not the third one. So coming into the fourth one, I was like, all right, let's see some punching and jumping and stuff. And sure enough, it just kind of didn't do anything good. It just kind of was like, I don't know. I don't even remember that much of the movie because it was just so baseline everything.
It had some really, really great shots, like the overhead shot following him through like the fucking house as he was killing people. That shot was really cool.
That was cool.
I have to say my main issue was like, this is so long after the original one, and it's supposed to be what, like 24 hours later or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
it's supposed to be like right away. But the problem is that it's been 10 or so years for Keanu Reeves, who cannot move the way he could 10 years ago.
No.
So it looked, a lot of the fight scenes looked really fucking wonky.
Well, so to that point, the fight scenes, in the original film are like all a lot, done a lot in like, single takes and stuff like that, because he can do it. And like, I'm not faulting Keanu Reeves. Like, I can't do half the things I could do 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I'm only in my 30s. I'm falling apart. But to that fact, you could see like there was a lot of those like kind of awkward cuts, those like kind of traditional action cuts that they had to make to sell this whole thing. And that was definitely disappointing. Psychotic, what did you think of VHS 85, by the way?
Yeah, I was curious because I remember when, I don't know if we saw VHS together.
We might have seen the original one together.
Was that at the townhouse?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't recall.
All I remember is being like really freaked out by it, and it was like really scary, in my opinion.
I love that movie. I love the original one. I mean, it was like whatever, it's low budge, but it was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was effective.
Yeah, Pete says, I don't think John Wick 4 is gonna really meet your expectations and meet the moment, because like it could have. It's just. Yeah, the story was beaten to death.
I agree. I didn't have anything to really chew on with this. I was hoping for more. Yeah, so I think I've seen John Wick 2. I don't really remember it that well, but John Wick, the original, was fantastic.
I agree, 1000%. Well, okay, what's another one on your most disappointing?
A big one, big one on my most disappointing list was Evil Dead Rise. We talked about this on stream as well, and this was a movie that I was very hyped for. You know me, Dave. I like the Evil Dead franchise, and yes. I've introduced you a little bit to it. This had a lot of good things about it. I think the makeup effects were great. I think the gore effects and stuff were really cool.
Yeah.
I think this was so lacking on the story, and I think it dropped the ball on a lot of the themes that it was setting up. Like, it set up so much interesting stuff, and then, in my opinion, just kind of shit the bed in the third act and threw it all out the window for some kind of generic scares. And then the movie ends, we get a weird twist, and I was like, dude, I had so much hope for this film. I really did. And it just... I had so much hype for it, and it just let me down in the end.
Yes, to this day, I still believe fully that you wanted this movie to be something it was not and never intended to be.
I know. We actually argued about this for like days after our stream.
Yes.
Because the only reason I disagree with you is because I think of all the things it did set up in the opening, like in the first act, it set up a lot of these big thematic things, and it never fucking paid them off. And that's why I think, because it set up itself to be a bigger movie or a different movie, and then by the end of the movie, it just was like, whatever. Here's some other gore and stuff, and I don't think it paid those things off. That is why I'm disappointed. If I went into this and this set it up as just kind of whatever, run and gun, just gonna have some big spooky things and gore and whatever, fine, I'd be fine with it. But this set up a lot of interesting things that never paid off, in my opinion.
I think all the things that set up were great for world building, and otherwise how are we gonna give a shit about these characters? And I think that Evil Dead Rise, I'm not gonna give you my opinion on it. I just want to talk about your opinion on it, because I'm not in that part yet.
Got it.
I really do believe that you wanted this movie to be more than it ever intended to be. And that's why I believe you're a little skewed on it.
I understand that. I really disagree with it.
That's fine. You don't have to agree.
Fair enough.
You can be wrong sometimes.
But good to know, Psychotic, because I definitely want to check out VHS 85. It seems interesting. You're right, Chloe.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Chloe.
Stop wanting good movies.
It's a fun, scary, horror, gory film, and you're like, where's the theme? Where's the thematic
It set
elements?
up those things, though. It set those things up, Dave.
Story?
I'm not saying it fucking, like, it didn't give me anything, and then I was pissed that it didn't give me anything. I'm saying it set up great ideas and didn't fucking pay them off.
Yes, but it didn't need to, because that's not what the movie is for. No,
that's how movies work. You set something up and then you pay it off.
Some movies don't do that.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
Some movies don't do that. Some movies are just scary
movies. Some movies are shitty. You're right, Dave. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No,
I
some
really
movies are just scary and gory. You're not going to try and gaslight me, sir.
What else do you have on your disappointing list?
Leave the World Behind.
I have that on my disappointing list as well.
However, I want to wait because I want to talk about that last and spend the most time on it. I will just go two more real quick, and then we can go Leave the World Behind. Cocaine Bear and Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny.
Okay, Cocaine Bear I also have on my disappointing list because another like great, fun, goofy B-movie concept that just didn't hit.
No.
Like, I didn't find this movie very funny. I didn't find it very entertaining even.
No, it was very like, we went and saw it together with Wendy, and it was like, it had some cool shit, it had some funny parts, but it just in general was like, okay, that's fine.
That's the sequence of the bear chasing them in the ambulance is my favorite sequence of the film because it was actually, there's like a lot of tension and there's a lot of like some small comedy things and great horror, and it's like perfectly encapsulated. If the movie was just a short film and it was that scene, I'd be like, bravo,
right, you
did it. But there's so much of this and so much like the forced like family themes and stuff with this as well that it was like none of this hit.
No.
And it wasn't particularly funny, short of like the bear does cocaine. Whoa. Like that joke wore itself out.
Yeah.
So good. Well, no, and that's the thing. Like we talked about this when we streamed Psychotic. I love trashy good films. I do.
Same.
And this is trying so hard to be that.
Yeah.
That it misses the mark.
Yeah.
That's like it's like if The Room, like you can't make The Room on purpose.
No.
You know.
No.
It just takes a certain ineptitude to create something like this. And this movie was trying to create something like that and just overthought it, didn't hit the mark in my opinion. So I don't think it's not something that I think is my least favorite, but a movie that should have been more fun in the trashy good way.
Yes.
Than it really was.
Yeah, it should have been trashy good. We were expecting to be trashy good, and then it wasn't.
I wanted a fun, goofy, schlocky like B-movie premise, you know, and we just it just kind of wasn't. It went really sappy. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
it went very sappy.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, I was like, in a Cocaine Bear movie? Really?
Stop it.
But you don't see it if you want. But that's just how I felt about it.
Why don't you hit me with your last two before we get to Leave the World Behind?
So I have another one, a movie. I don't know if it came out directly to Hulu. A movie called Slaughterhouse. It's a movie about a killer sloth in a sorority house. I was gonna say frat house. So a sloth is bought by this girl in a sorority house, and she wants to be a sorority like house queen or however it works. Anyway, the sloth starts killing people, and I'm like, that's a fun B-movie premise.
Yeah.
I'm here for all of this. And I watched it, and it started out really fun, really goofy. It's a sloth puppet as well, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. I think the sloth is really funny, and then they don't really do much with that, short of like, it's a sloth, and it kills people. It does not talk, to be clear.
It's not like Thanksgiving.
But it is very cute and scary at the same time.
Oh, weird.
So there's some like really fun kills, and then it kind of doesn't really know what to do with itself for like the middle of the movie, and I was like, oh, this is kind of boring now. So it kind of wore out the concept pretty quickly, but I think the idea was great, and so that's why I was a bit disappointed, because I think this could have been more fun, and it was only an hour and a half long.
Oh, okay.
I literally was like, Slaughterhouse, it was like literally almost 90 minutes on the mark. I was like, that's a sweet spot. And it just felt like it didn't really have anywhere to go so much. But short of that, I did think it is a funny concept, and it did have some really funny, goofy things about it that I did enjoy. So, oh yes, Psychotic. I love Rubber. Rubber is one of my favorite horror comedies ever.
I don't know what that is.
We're gonna watch Rubber.
Oh fuck!
It's a movie about a killer tire. It's so good. It's
Love it.
so fucking good. I'm a huge fan of Rubber. I highly recommend that to anybody. That came out like probably 10, 12 years ago or something.
No idea.
Rubber. It's great, dude. Josh,
I'm excited for that.
Josh, you would love this movie too. Watch Rubber. You should watch Rubber. Flubby. But yeah, so I have that, and then I also have Scream 6 on my most disappointing list. Lots of people, this is maybe a hot take, I don't know, but Scream 6, I really loved Scream 5. I know, I'm sorry. I'm a man who goes into each movie trying his best, you know?
Yeah.
And with Scream 5, I really loved it. I really had such a great time. I was very hyped about it. And so when Scream 6 came out, I went and saw it in the theaters when I was back home in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit. It did not hit for me. It was very goofy. It was goofier than I mean, obviously it's kind of has those like kind of comedy-esque kind of things, but even still, I was like, oh, we're stretching these reveals out really fucking thin now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I was disappointed. I think there was fun things about the movie, and I wouldn't necessarily say don't go see it.
Okay.
Lots of people love this film, and that's fine. I'm not gonna, talk shit about you guys, but it just didn't hit for me in the way that I had really hoped for.
Yes, Chloe, we do stand Jenna Ortega in a Scream franchise. Too bad she's not in it anymore.
Or what's her other the girl plays her sister as well. They're gone.
They're both out.
And the director of Scream 7 also just dipped
really?
too. Yeah, so
interesting.
They got to reboot again.
So basically what I'm hearing from you is that Scream is disappointing.
Fuck off, Dave. Don't you twist my words, sir. I opened up to you.
I'm not twisting anything. I am just omitting certain words.
I opened up to you, and you just put me on blast right here on stream. Absolutely unbelievable.
Listen, I know that you are being vulnerable, and I am taking advantage. That's all I'm saying.
So, Psychotic, I agree with you. When people are churning out sequels and stuff all the time.
Yes, agreed.
The Scream franchise, there's a special place in my heart for. I think Scream 2 is fine. Scream 3 is not good. Scream 4 is fun. And I think Scream 5 is fun, but these are all over like the past almost 30 years. We've gotten 6 of them, so I'm not. I'm the most generous with the Scream franchise, but the Saw franchise.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
The fact that you want to buy the collection, Psychotic, makes me think that your name, Psychotic.
Seek professional help. No, it's just one of those things. It's like I don't particularly. I think the original Saw is great. I think it's a fantastic thriller. I loved it, and I remember Saw 2. I might have seen the third, and I think I've seen little bits and pieces over the years.
I think the last one I remember is when that girl, like the girl who was his protege, took over. And so a girl who's like his protege takes over, and all of her traps are unbeatable. Like you can't get out of them in any way, shape, or form. And people had a really big issue with that because that's not the point.
Yeah, like that's not the point at all.
Like there's one, I think the one I remember specifically is this woman has a cage like drilled into her chest, and like she has to do something really insane to get out of it, and it's impossible to actually do it, and it just rips her chest open.
So I think Tobin Bell is great, and good for him. Like, get your money, dude. Like, get your money. That is kind of funny. It's like you've committed adultery. You can either you're chained to a chair, There's a hammer on your right-hand side, and a gun on your left-hand side. It's like, wait.
Hold on.
Wait, no. None of these things help you get out. You just kill yourself with these things. What is anybody learning?
I don't know. Nothing.
Nothing. Literally nothing, Dave.
How to Die.
How to Die 101 with Tobin Bell.
Yes.
But those are all of my most disappointing up until, of course, Leave the World Behind.
Oh my God. This movie, like, I can't hate it because I really, really enjoyed 99% of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. We talked a little bit about this off stream, but yeah, like the film, it's a Sam Esmail directed film. It's on Netflix, starring Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke. Kevin Bacon's around there somewhere. Mahershala Ali, and everybody I think turns in like fun performances, but like. It's the God. We're not going to spoil anything, to be very clear. But this is a film that I was like, okay, it's a kind of like an end of the world kind of scenario.
Yes, which I love those movies.
Yeah, and I'm not even that big of a fan of these kind of movies, to be perfectly honest with you. But it starts and we see things are kind of going weird, and like the family, Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke's family, they're in an Airbnb.
Yes,
and things kind of start going awry, and I was like, oh, okay, we've seen this before. But the way it kind of happens, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is interesting, and I'm pulled into this movie.
Yes.
I think Sam Esmail as a director is great. He created Mr. Robot. I love that TV show. And so I was like, okay, I'm here for this. And it starts pulling you deeper and deeper, and weirder things happen. And then it shits the bed
so hard.
The
hardest anything has ever shit the bed. Like
needs to go to the hospital, shit the bed back.
If you're watching like this, watching a movie, by the time it shits the bed, you're just like,
yeah.
And then the way she's the page, like, oh, fuck off.
It cuts to credits. It cuts to black. And I think to myself, I don't know how long I've been watching this movie, but if the credits start rolling, I'm gonna go light Netflix on fire. I'm gonna grab the nearest brick I can find and go to Netflix. And it did, and it fucking did. It cuts to credits
out loud when it cut to black. Out loud, I go, "That's not how it ends."
I literally fast forwarded through the credits to try to praying that there was something else is going, and I was like, dude, I tell you what, this movie is one of those that had really. Like such a like didn't have even like that unique of a premise, but it had such a fun execution that I was pulled into it. And when it ended, I was like, what is this even trying to say? I'm fine with, again, not to spoil anything, but it's a bit of an ambiguous ending. And I think to myself, Blake, you've seen a lot of movies. Usually a director, if they end ambiguously, there's a reason for that. So like, what is this movie trying to say with this ending? And I think, and the days go by, and my cat's looking at me like, do you need help? Should I call somebody? And then I realized I was like, this movie, it's not really trying to say anything. Like,
well, that's not true.
It's
not. Let me tell you what it's trying to say. Sometimes you almost sneeze.
It is a non-sneeze of a movie. It is like, oh, it's gone.
It's literally like you're like, I think I have to sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Yeah. No, I did like it. I think the performances are fun. I think there's a lot of, like, thinking about it now, there's a lot of like unnecessary camera work in there, like a lot of like and stuff where I was like, okay, we get it. The world is turning upside, like, we get it. And
there are some very, very truly, genuinely unsettling, creepy things that happen in that movie.
I agree.
And I have to say that as much as we are ranting about this, I do still think people should watch it.
I agree. I agree with it. I think Julia Roberts' character, the more I think about it, the less I think Julia Roberts' character and Ethan Hawke's characters are good. They're more caricatures. in my head.
Yeah, a little bit
now, but maybe that's just because I'm a bit removed from watching it.
Could be. You don't think that in the moment, that's for sure.
I didn't feel that in the moment. I was like, ooh. Ooh. But yeah, so that's definitely probably my most disappointing movie of the year. Maybe it's because I've seen it recently, but still, it's definitely up there.
I would say it's my number one most disappointing. I, again, didn't hate it. And it's most disappointing because, as you know, and anybody who's listened to our show at any point knows, I love post-apocalypse stuff.
Yes.
I love even mid-apocalypse stuff.
Yeah.
I love anything where the world ends because I hate the world. So this movie immediately, like, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. It sounds like a pretty good premise. And within a few minutes, I'm like, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And then it, like, is reeling me in. It's really building me up. And then it's just...
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Like, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's some kind of weird things with it, too, that I don't want to get deep into here. No. But yeah, I still think it's worth a watch. You have no disappointing movie from 2023. Oh. That's fair, dude. That's fair. Yeah. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the stream, but I've seen 191 movies this year. I've seen 54 2023 movies that came out this year.
Insane.
But honestly, I've liked more movies than I haven't liked this year, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, you know what? Do you want to get into like our honorable mentions?
I do. Before that, I'm going to run through some movies. You might have these on your list. I made a list of, because I've seen so many this year, movies that I wanted to mention really quickly, of movies that aren't in my honorable mentions or favorites, but movies that I really did enjoy and wanted to call out.
Yes.
This year. Okay. That I really had a good time with. And these are all over the place, to be very clear. Okay. So strap in for this one. First on my list, I actually really enjoyed Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I don't think it's a great movie, necessarily, but I had fun with it. I came into this thinking, we talked about this on stream, I thought I was going to fucking hate this movie. I was like, let's see. And I enjoyed it.
I didn't.
I don't think it was great, but I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed, I know you have this, we'll talk about this more on your thing, but I also have Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I thought it was a fun movie. I had way more fun with that than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I also really like Tetris. I think that was an Apple TV Plus movie. It's Taron Egerton. He's created Tetris or something, and it's kind of a political thriller almost. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I also really like Gran Turismo.
Yes.
I thought that was a really fun movie and not a typical like video game movie, because it's not within the world of the video game. It's about, you know, a kid competing in real life and becomes a racer because of Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
That was fun. I really liked Dumb Money, starring Paul Dano, about the Reddit.
Yes.
The GameStop stock thing. It was fun. And I think it was pretty well done. So I enjoyed that. There's a movie, excuse me, I think it was on Apple TV Plus as well, called The Beanie Bubble, starring Zach Galifianakis and Elizabeth Banks and some other people I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Anyway, it wasn't like, wow, this is cinema, but I had a fun time with it. It was really fun, and Zach Galifianakis was great. In it. I also really liked The Little Mermaid. I had a fun time. I saw that in theaters with Icky, who's on our stream sometimes. I thought it was fun. I do not like these live action remakes. No. Typically, but this was fun. Sorry, go ahead.
It's definitely one on my list that I've wanted to see, but like wanted is a very, very generous term.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded seeing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I was invited out to go see it, and I was like, okay, fine. Like, not really thinking too much about it, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, I actually had a pretty good time. The songs were fun, and I think the performances were over the top, and like, but like in that like kind of fun Disney way, you know. And I was like, all right, I enjoyed it. I was in a theater. I'm a 30-plus-year-old man, and I'm in a theater with a bunch of little tiny children, so I felt weird, but I did enjoy it. I was just singing over the movie the whole time. We don't talk about it. No, I haven't seen Missing, but
I haven't even heard of Missing.
I have. I know of Searching, because I wanted to see it, but I never got a chance to see Searching.
Nope, haven't heard of that either.
Yeah. Oh, also, John. Yeah. Nobody wanted to. Can you imagine trying to make the actual game Tetris into a movie?
No, I can't.
It's like making Q*bert into a movie. Like,
well, how? You couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. But I gotta say, like, it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was a fun, like, way better movie that it deserved to be. So yeah.
Cool.
I enjoyed that. Anyway, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think was a fun movie. Definitely not my top 10 or honorable mentions, but I think the animation was even better than the first. I think the soundtrack was great. I wasn't super stoked on how it ended, but we both saw that together, right?
Across Spider-Verse, yeah.
Yeah. So got that in there. December came out on Netflix. It's a Todd Haynes film starring Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. It's kind of a melodrama, kind of a satire. There's a lot of online discourse about what this movie is supposed to be.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It's good. It's good.
What is it?
It's basically about this. Natalie Portman's like this television actress, and she goes to visit this family to like learn. Basically, the family, the Julianne Moore's character, when she was like in her 30s, she basically had like started a relationship with this kid in like the 8th grade, and they had a baby and stuff, and so they're doing a movie about it, and Natalie Portman goes to learn about her and stuff for her performance of her in a film that she's doing. And it's kind of a melodrama and kind of a comedy and kind of a satire. There's a lot going on there tonally, and a lot of people don't know what to make of it, but I really enjoyed it. Definitely worth watching. I have Maestro on here as well.
That was in my movies I wanted to see but didn't get around to seeing.
It's good. I enjoyed it. I think, Bradley Cooper directing and starring, I think he did a fantastic job of both. The performances were fantastic. I think it was really great. It's a really solid film that maybe was a little too long, but I enjoyed, but not quite enough to hit those top marks for me.
Interesting.
We both saw the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes.
I enjoyed this movie. It was fun. Another movie I was in a theater with a lot of kids.
Yes. Yes. I'm refraining from some of these because they are in my other lists.
Right on.
So I'm letting you just kind of touch on them. We can talk more about them when I talk about them.
Okay, cool. Add to what you add, and I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I saw Priscilla, about Priscilla Presley.
Yes.
Sofia Coppola movie. I really like this movie. It's kind of been getting people either I think like it or don't like it. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think it gave us quite a unique look into her life, and also how shitty Elvis was as a person.
Yeah. Wasn't she like 14 when they met?
Yeah. She was. She finished high school. She was living in Germany, or like her dad was working for the military, and he had flown her so she could finish her senior year in Memphis and live with Elvis.
Gross.
Holy crap. Oh, we're gonna get to Oppenheimer.
Yeah, we'll get to Oppenheimer's. I got it.
Short version. I liked it. Loved it. Absolutely. But yeah, Priscilla's great. It's kind of a low key drama. Mm-hmm. Next is Asteroid City. I finally saw the Wes Anderson film.
Lemons, my buddy Salisbury said, "Don't waste your time on that one."
I disagree. Again, I wouldn't say it's like. Here's my issue with it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a Wes Anderson film. I think the design is great. I think everybody acts like they're in a Wes Anderson film. I think it's a little more, even a little more meta than a standard Wes Anderson film is, which I enjoyed. But there's not a lot of heart there, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's kind of missing a bit of a soul, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the overall experience of it. So.
Yes, Josh Peck was in Oppenheimer.
Yes, he was. Well, there's everybody was in Oppenheimer. Every man was in Oppenheimer.
Yes, every man was in Oppenheimer.
For sure.
It was like everybody in Hollywood was either in Barbie or Oppenheimer.
Yeah, everybody was in a movie at least this year. So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend Asteroid City, but don't go in thinking you're gonna get top-notch Wes Anderson out of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of a fun watch. I watched a movie called Bottoms.
Interesting.
Which is a comedy starring and written, also co-written by Rachel Sennett, who's in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh, okay.
The most annoying one in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's great. It's the most absurd comedy I saw this year. Okay. Hands down. It's absurdity to a really interesting effect. Yeah. That is both hilarious and weird and kind of heartwarming as well. Like, I really like this movie. I think you should see Bottoms if you're into it.
I know Chloe wanted to see it. I don't know if she did, but I think we'll probably end up watching it when it comes out on streaming.
It is. I saw it on a certain streaming platform that Jordan has. Yeah.
Tubi?
Tubi.
Cool.
The legal entity of Tubi. But definitely recommend that. And then the last on my entertaining films list, which I also really loved, and I saw this on Pizza's Plex, is Theater Camp. It's a mockumentary about theater kids in a theater camp, and it's really fun. It's really, really fun.
Interesting.
I wasn't a theater kid, but it was hilarious, and I really, really enjoyed it. So
it sounds like it would be.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch. So those are my entertaining, worth mentioning films.
Great. Well, do you want to go ahead and get into honorable mentions then?
Honorable mentions.
Great. So
I've been talking forever. Please talk for a while.
Yes.
Thanks.
So I didn't say anything about some of your films worth mentioning because they were in my honorable mentions, and I figured I'll go next.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
So we'll talk about stuff that you've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons and Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I really liked Gran Turismo. I thought it was fun. I like how they recreated an actual crash that happened. That was fucking scary.
Yeah.
And I do really like that was a real thing that happened. They took a gamer who is now a professional racer who has won races.
Yeah.
And podiumed a bunch of times. So he's actually really good. It's fantastic. I don't think it was good enough to be in my top 10 for sure, but I did really like it.
Yeah, same.
Dungeons and Dragons, I felt like it could have been in my top 10, but I had to rush through watching it, and I fast forwarded a few times in it when I was watching it, so I couldn't in good conscience put that any higher than honorable mentions, but I did really enjoy it.
Fair enough.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I thought it had some really fun parts. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But some movies that you didn't talk about that were in my honorable mentions were Thanksgiving. I saw that on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I thought that was a fun little
the
Thanksgiving-themed horror film. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to see it.
I think that you should. I thought it was pretty good. Okay. Dream Scenario, we just saw that together recently.
Yes.
It's my honorable mentions. I liked it. I was confused.
Yeah, so
I really didn't know what the point of the movie was, but I enjoyed it.
Dream Scenario is also in my honorable mentions here too. Again, a Nicolas Cage performance. Yes. The setup of this film is he's just like a middle-aged college professor, you know, kind of balding and stuff. He's just kind of a goofy-looking guy. But for some unknown reason, an unexplained reason, he kind of starts showing up in everybody's dreams. Yeah. Like, everybody's having this, like, experiencing this phenomenon of him showing up in their dreams. He's not doing anything.
No.
Until all of a sudden it takes a turn, and then he is doing stuff.
Yes.
And he's antagonizing people in the dreams. Of course, he's not controlling this.
No.
But the fallout from people dreaming about him is impacting his real life. And it's like, we saw this together just a week or so ago. And it's funny. It's really, really funny. And it's really weird, but also very sad. and not in a surface level like you're gonna cry during the movie, just in a
existential
way. Sad. It was just sad, like, oh fuck.
Everything's awful.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy this movie. I think it was the director's first feature, and also co-produced by Ari Aster.
Oh, okay.
Of Hereditary and Midsummer fame. Wow. That came from the depths.
Right.
So I can see that influence. It's very weird. Lots of really fun, surreal stuff, but definitely into my honorable mentions, and we're seeing.
Yeah. So I also, in my last two honorable mentions, I kind of lump them together here because they're both horror films. When Evil Lurks, which is a foreign language film.
Oh, yeah.
That I thought was really good. It was one of those ones that I thought was really good, and then it got to the end, and I was like, well, that was... It's just over now?
We're done with that?
All right.
No? Okay.
But then also Talk to Me. I thought that one was really good. It was in my honorable mentions for sure. I really liked how that ended, which is refreshing to say about a movie so far in this stream.
I agree with you. We talked about Talk to Me on a stream. It's also in my honorable mentions. So my honorable mentions were all movies that were in my top 10 at one point.
Same.
And were kicked off.
Yes, all mine were bumped.
Talk to Me is a refreshing horror film.
Yes.
That I really, really enjoyed, and I thought was very clever and scary and unique. I think it had something to say. It was like there's like a unique voice behind it, and I would encourage more of that. So if you guys get a chance to see Talk to Me, go see it. You should.
Absolutely, you should. I think it's great. Not quite top 10, but great nonetheless.
Yes, I fully agree.
It's your turn. I'm all done.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got a handful of these. On Christmas Day, a few days ago, I saw a movie called The Iron Claw, an A24 film starring Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White. And holy shit, I loved this movie. I absolutely loved it. It's about the Von Erichs, who are... I'm not a wrestling guy, particularly. But they're like a wrestling family, like dynasty in the 80s, I guess in early 90s. And it's, there's like... this quote-unquote curse, it's a tragic film, and it's very good. Zac Efron, say what you want about the guy, he turns in a fantastic performance here.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic performance. Great. And so I definitely recommend seeing that. It's brand new to theaters. We just saw previews for it for Dream Scenario. Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did as well. So that was on there. Another one of the first movies I saw this year, experimental horror film called Skinamarink.
Oh yeah,
I loved this movie. You're right, Johnny. He has come a long way. And like we were talking about this a bit off stream, like he kind of, I don't think he's particularly like the smartest human in the world. He's kind of a bit of a meathead, but he turns in a fantastic performance here, and it's definitely worth seeing. I think I might end up seeing that. Probably on streaming, but fair enough. It's definitely worth it. But Skinamarink, I saw twice. I saw it the Alamo Drafthouse downtown, and then I saw with the director for a Q&A at the Ace downtown, which was really cool. The huge audience, and Patton Oswalt was there moderating the discussion. I love Patton Oswalt. Me too, and he's such a big movie buff, and so to have him talking was really cool. The film is challenging, I would say, because it's not a traditional narrative, but definitely gives you the spooks, and I really enjoyed this film. I didn't, after the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? And I watch a lot of weird stuff. Yes, you do. But then when I got a chance to see it again, I did, and I liked it that much. That's when it kind of clicked for me. I was like, I actually love this movie. So definitely recommend seeing it if you're into weird horror films and have patience. Oh, you almost had me. Sorry. I don't even have patience for this conversation. The next one I got on my list is a movie called The Passenger, which I think was an MGM Plus or something release. It's a small film. It's an indie film. Basically, the idea behind it is these two guys who work at a fast food restaurant, I think in Texas. One of them gets fed up and shoots all their coworkers except the one, and then takes them on this car ride all around town to the shooter to help this other kid solve his problems and stuff. And it's wild. It's very very good. I highly recommend this movie. The performances are fantastic.
Who's in it?
I forget the guy's name, but if you remember the movie Smile, it's the guy who played the cop is the main actor here. What is his name? Nope. Kyle Gallner.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like Sam Pack.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so
Chloe is making a quick appearance.
Oh, hi. I highly recommend this movie. I think it's fantastic.
Interesting.
And definitely worth a watch. It's a lot. It's a lot of a movie, but it's only an hour and a half, and so it's concise. It gets to the point, and I really enjoyed it. That was a big one for me. Another one.
Yeah, hit me.
A movie called Cat Daddies. It's a documentary.
I knew it.
I love this movie. I love this movie.
I wonder why.
And to be fair, I saw this movie before I got my cat Taco Steve, our mascot.
You were already a cat owner in mind.
This was the impetus behind me getting a cat, because this movie is so good, and I don't say it just because I'm a cat guy now, or a cat daddy, if you will, but it talks about it explores the lives of these people who love their cats, and it talks to everybody from firefighters, this guy who lives in a small space, to a homeless man who has a cat, and another guy who's a trucker and his cat rides with him and stuff. And it's interesting because we get to see these people's lives, and it's very emotional. Wonderful storytelling, and the cats are cute as shit. But I thought I was going into this thinking it would just kind of be just like a documentary with there's cute cats, and talks about how guys can like cats too, whatever. But I saw it and I was moved by this movie.
I remember you telling me about it. How you were did you cry?
Yeah, I was close to crying because there's a couple pretty emotional things, and I also made threats against. Speaking of Steve New, look at this asshole.
Speaking of cats.
And I was threatening this movie in my head. I was like, if this happens and I cry, I'm gonna be mad. But it's fantastic, and I think it's streaming now, so you can go check that out.
No thanks.
Okay. But the next one I have on my list is a small indie film called The Civil Dead, which I really really liked. I guess I have to be honest here. A friend of mine executive produced this film. And I really loved it. And he was like, yeah, blah, 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 check it out. And so it was original 22 release, but it came out streaming at 23. So
I was going to say, bro, that says 22.
Yeah, it's a 23 streaming. So essentially, the concept's fun. There's like an artist, a struggling kind of artist, basically meets up with his old friend who turns out doesn't realize is dead, and he's the only one who can see his dead friend.
Oh shit.
And so his dead friend's just always there, and they weren't friends, like BFF friends, the kind of acquaintances.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And the guy who's dead, was really thought the other guy was cool, but the guy who can see him wasn't a huge fan of him,
Oh wow.
And stuff. And so it kind of explores that relationship, and it's really fun. I think it's really clever, and I really enjoyed it, and I think that's streaming now. I think it's on Showtime.
Interesting.
So I definitely recommend that.
That sounds fun. That definitely sounds like something I would want to watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a
a first weekend at Bernie's.
Exactly. Exactly. It's really fun. So if you can find that, definitely give it a watch. It's an indie film. It's a low budget indie film, but I really liked it.
Cool. I definitely want to watch that. That sounds like something I would really enjoy.
I'll watch it again with you if you want.
Cool.
The next thing I have on my list is the David Fincher film The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender. It came out on Netflix.
Have I seen previews for this?
Dude, I was hyped for this film. I'm a huge David Fincher fan. As a white person, I'm a huge David Fincher fan. I tell you what.
Someone the same color as paper?
Got it.
Nailed it.
Got it. This is my kind of movie. And I really like this film. I didn't really know what to make of it at first because it's not typical. Like the story's about a hitman after like a hit goes wrong, and but it's funny. Like it's almost a satire of like hitman films, but in a very deadpan way. And like our killer likes to listen to the Smiths while he's performing his stuff, so we get to hear like every Smith song ever. It's a really fun movie. A little long, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's worth checking out. That's on Netflix.
That sounds pretty good too.
Yeah.
Come on by.
Come on in.
Come on back.
Wow.
Yes. Now I'm excited to hear about your talk of the next one that's on your.
Yes.
There.
My last film on my honorable mentions. I'm so sorry. I'm just talking ad nauseum.
No, it's great. It's perfect. I love sitting here and just nodding along. I just am so excited for your reactions when we get to my top 10.
I'm not. It's Killers of the Flower Moon. That's my last honorable mention here. I really like this film. Way too fucking long. We talked about this a lot on stream, and I think Chloe One was talking about it too, where it's like 3.5 hours, like, and I'm like, listen, I'll go see it because I tend to trust certain filmmakers. David Fincher makes long ass films. I'll see Martin Scorsese, Tarantino. They all make films that are long as balls, but I will see them because I trust them. And this is too fucking long.
Yeah.
It's too long.
I gotta be honest with you. If I see this movie, it's gonna be for one reason only. The fact that for the first time in his entire career, Robert De Niro is using an accent.
It's funny you say that, but I didn't really think of it much.
Which means he did a really good job at it.
Yeah, I mean, he was great in it. I think the performances were great. Lily Gladstone was fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio was good too, for sure. What I really enjoyed about this film is that it, people have problems with it. It's Martin Scorsese, it's a white guy directing a Native American story.
Yeah, that is.
But I think he does it in a way that, I mean, he definitely had consultants and stuff. Like he talked,
sure. Yeah.
And there's a number of times in this film where like you can tell that they're recognizing the traditions and like talking about these things, and it takes its time, which is fine. I'm not so upset at the pace, but I wasn't expecting like a fucking massive action film or anything like that. But yeah, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, we get it. It could have been 3 hours, and but nope, we're 3.5. Didn't need to be that long, but it was a very good film. And I did enjoy it, and I think it was. I'm not one to say this because I'm not a Native American person, but it didn't feel. There's no good white people in this movie, so it didn't feel like it was like like being disrespectful. I think towards Native American culture. Again, I'm not.
Good.
I can't be the ultimate factor in that, but I feel like I'm relatively sensitive to that stuff, and it didn't feel like it veered off in any of those directions. It's a pretty complex film.
I know Chloe had some thoughts on that movie as well. I think there was some. I think she said there was some very difficult subject matter to deal with.
Yes, there's some difficult things in this movie. There's a lot of difficult things that this movie grapples with. I have to say, I did enjoy it, but it was one of those things where I did think about it for quite a long time on where I wanted to place this in my list. And honestly, John, it essentially is a gangster movie. Like it is in a sense a gangster movie.
Yes, it involves the most notorious gangsters of all time. White people. It
is basically a gangster movie in a sense. But I did enjoy this film. It's definitely a lot to grapple with. It's a lot The movie is a lot, both runtime thematically and even just the textual content. It's a lot, but I did enjoy the film. So,
well, hell yeah.
Them's my honorables.
Those are honorables. I think it's time.
For another White Claw?
Time for the what?
For another White Claw.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, my first White Claw, actually. I just had a mixed drink.
You just had a mixed drink.
It's White Claw time.
White Claw time.
All right, set us up.
So we are going to go ahead and hop into our respective top 10 movies of 2023. Obviously, movies that came out in 2023. And I would just like to point out that when you left, we got another viewer. So.
Oh, hi. I should go away again.
That's what I'm saying. Bye-bye.
It was because they could see Steve.
That's exactly why. Yes. Here's your obligatory Taco Steve content. You are welcome.
Man. Yes, we are in top 10s, Dave.
Top 10s. We'll go back and forth just to make it fair.
Yes. You go first.
Yes. There are a few. You might yell. I'm just saying. So, number 10. I have to say, number 10 was No One Will Save You. The Hulu movie. It was an alien invasion movie.
Oh, okay. I do recall. Okay.
Did you see it?
Did not see it.
Okay. This movie was really good. It was a new take on the alien invasion. Not super new, but newer. And there was literally only one... No, Jonathan, there was only one for real audible line of dialogue.
No way.
In the whole movie. Everything else that you hear is somebody yelling out the window of a car.
Interesting.
Or just like somebody in the background saying something. But the main characters, the characters that we meet on screen, there's only one line of dialogue.
Interesting.
And it's basically, I'm sorry.
Wow. And that's effective? What's the story? Like, what's the story?
But the thing is, it's effective in a way that you don't notice until after the fact. You're like, wait a minute. It pulls you in. So basically, this young woman lives alone in his house. She has this hobby of building miniature houses, and she is kind of going into town, and it's very clear that people hate her.
Okay.
We don't know why, but people hate her.
I know the feeling.
You do. Get out of your apartment. So, so basically, aliens start to invade, and with the alien invasion, she's fighting real hard. They're invading, and they're kind of like sort of also body snatching a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
And so they try and get her, but she fights and is able to come out of this body snatching thing. And so they take her up in their ship, and they study her, and then we find out why people hate her. And basically, without giving away too much, because I do think you should see it, the alien's like, ooh, you know what? You can go. That's so sorry.
You stole from an orphanage?
Yikes. Ew. Like, not like they feel bad for her way. Not like you're a shitty person. They're like, ooh, you've been through enough, we think. Oh. You can go.
That's interesting. Okay, I do want to see this.
Yes, I do. It's definitely very good. I think, like I said, it's very effective that they don't say anything. Yeah. To the point where you don't even notice until somebody points it out.
That's good filmmaking, in my opinion. And it's interesting, too, because it's like one of those movies that has like a very generic name that I can never freaking remember. Yep. I literally don't even remember what it is right now. What is it?
No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You.
Yep.
No one will remember this movie.
False. They just
yes, I hope they do. I do want to check it out. For me, my number 10 is a movie called American Fiction, also a new movie that came out relatively recently, and I really love this movie. So here's the log line if you haven't heard of it. It just came out a couple weeks ago. A novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment uses a pen name to write a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy and the madness that he claims to disdain. And it is awesome. It's hilarious.
Really?
It's directed by Cord Jefferson. Very funny, but also very hard hitting. Like, I saw this with a friend who had seen a lot of advertisements for it and stuff, and he's like, oh, this wasn't like how it felt like in the ads, but I didn't see any of the ads. This movie really hit for me. I think it had so much to grab onto, a number of laugh out loud moments. Jeffrey Wright's performance, fantastic. Tracy Ellis Ross is in it as well.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really great. I think it's in theaters now, but as soon as it comes to streaming, if you guys don't want to see it in theaters, stream this thing. It's great.
I'll probably stream it. I honestly had never even heard of it until Chloe was like, hey, I'm going to see this movie. I'm like,
Yeah, I think it's an indie. I think it did really well at TIFF at Toronto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy this film. So definitely number 10 for me.
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely. It definitely sounds like something I would want to see for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and John, I haven't seen Silent Night, but I think it is one without there isn't dialogue in it. Is that a John Woo film? Am I tripping?
I don't even know what this is. Is it another Christmas movie?
Kid Cudi. Oh yeah, it is John Woo. It is a John Woo film. So it's Joel Kinnaman and Kid Cudi.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So a grieving father enacts his long-awaited revenge against a ruthless gang on Christmas Eve. Classic John Woo setup. I haven't really heard anything about it yet, but I might have to check this out.
Interesting. I have not even heard of it to this point, and I don't know if I want to see it.
I understand.
Doesn't sound super great to me, but
yeah.
Anyway, my number 9.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have said it while you still had something in your mouth. Damn. Evil Dead Rise.
Listen.
Nope. We talked about how you feel about it. It's my turn.
We've come so far as a species, Dave.
This movie did exactly what it set out to do, which was to be a very a scary, gory, like I think it was comparable to the story surrounding just the one thing, which is the demons taking over, possessing somebody, and killing everybody brutally, the same way the original was, which I know you have problems with because it was very different settings. They had no money. They were just doing a fun horror film.
Yeah, they made the original Evil Dead for like $10,000 and a couple coat hangers.
I personally don't think it matters how much they made any movie for, because I think they stayed true to what the Evil Dead set out to be to begin with, which is just a fun, stupid horror film. It was effective. I thought about it afterwards, and I don't think that it set out to be or to dive into any themes at all. I think it just wanted to be a scary, gory movie, and I think it did that.
I mean, listen, that's fair. You're entitled to whatever bad opinions you want. It's your list, and I'm just gonna judge you for it a little bit.
That's fine. You're wrong.
I'm a fucking hater today, dog. But I get it. And again, I understand there are things I do like about the film. It's not on my least favorite list, just on my most disappointing list. There are things to like about it. It just missed the mark tremendously for me, especially just to add, coming off of 2013's Evil Dead, which I think was fucking great. I love that movie. It's so brutal, but it also does say something. It also has a heart. It does the thing. It follows through on all of its themes. It's not that hard. Anyway, Dave, thank you.
That's fine. I mean,
I love 2013's
I would say
Evil Dead.
Out of the Evil Dead, 2013's Evil Dead, and Evil Dead Rise, only the Evil Dead from 2013 had a bigger theme outside of just a scary, gory film.
Wait, say that again?
So the Evil Dead, the initial one, was just a fun, scary, gory film. Yeah. The Evil Dead Rise, not the Evil Dead Rise, the 2013 Evil Dead had like deeper story and themes.
Yeah, addiction,
and then
family.
Evil Dead Rise had the same fun, campy, gory movie.
But it wasn't
this one.
Back at you. it definitely, but it's set up like these like themes of like motherhood and like all this stuff. Like again, whatever. I'm not gonna dive back into this, but I understand why I liked it, and that's fine. I'm not mad at that. I understand.
I feel like in terms of your being upset about they set up themes of motherhood, I think they did exactly what that particular motherhood thing, and they explored it. They talked about it.
I don't think it paid off in any meaningful way.
She ends up being a mother that she never wanted to be. Full circle.
In a way.
Full circle.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But for my number 9, I went with the Ari Aster film, Beau is Afraid.
That's kind of shocking to me.
The most anxiety-inducing movie I've seen in so fucking long. I love this movie. I didn't know how I felt about this movie.
I was gonna say that's what I remember you being like. I don't know. I
literally left there was a bunch of walkouts. I've been to theaters with a lot of walkouts this year.
That's true.
But lots of people walked out in Beau is Afraid, and there wasn't even that many people in the theater to begin with. But I went and saw this by myself at like a 10 o'clock screening, and it's also a long as shit movie. It's like 3 hours long.
Jesus.
And Joaquin Phoenix delivers a fantastic performance.
He's really good.
He's so good in it, and I left the movie feeling like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? This is like, it's so weird. It's the most realistic or most visceral portrayal of anxiety I've ever seen on film.
Great. Never gonna go see that.
It's about 3 hours long, and it just takes this whole wild journey. So if anybody doesn't know, this is the setup. Following the sudden death of his mother, a mild-mannered but anxiety-ridden man, Beau, confronts his darkest fears as he embarks on an epic Kafkaesque odyssey back home. And this thing is bonkers. It is just the insanity is just turned up to 15. It's so much. And after I saw it, we talked about it. I think we talked a little bit about it on stream, and I was like, I think I loved it, but I don't know, because it just there was so much. It was just so much, and so after seeing it a second time, I was like, yeah, I love this film. I fucking love this film.
Yeah, the last we had talked about it, you were still like, I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And now that you said it's like basically anxiety visualized, no, thank you.
But I have to say, in a way that like, it didn't necessarily, I don't know how to describe it. It didn't pull me into the anxiety. It was anxiety inducing a little bit, but it's a film about anxiety. Okay. And so I kind of felt this symbiosis with the film a bit and certain things. I was like, this film gets me in a way.
Okay.
So
well, still not going to see it.
Okay.
Because, the anxiety part of it, and then, just you deciding later that you loved it, I'm like, I can do without.
It's a challenging film.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Okay, my number 8.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, it had its problems, but I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought the animation style was great.
Yes, I totally agree.
I definitely didn't like how they tried to jam too much in at the end there, but they're setting up for the third one, and I think it's probably going to be the best of the 3, just based on how much they try to jam in. I think it's going to be really good. But I just really like the overall story and the I really liked it. I think it was a good number 8 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, the animation style was great. I think the soundtrack was great. I think both of those two aspects are even better than the first.
Yes.
I did like the story. It's definitely darker, like much darker tone film than even the first. And the first one was still pretty, But, yeah, I think my main thing that really even kept it off my honorable mentions, minus, like, me loving other movies more, is just I just didn't feel like that ending felt satisfying. It felt like the end of a Saturday morning cartoon. Our heroes will be back in the next one. Tune in next week. And I was like, damn it. Like,
next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Like, just when I felt like the plot like really kicking in, and stuff, they're like, in 2 years you get another one of these. So,
Yeah. Well, I understand that. I definitely can agree that the ending was kind of, come on, which I think is why it wasn't higher on my list. But I do still, I really really enjoyed it.
I did too. I did enjoy the film. For my number 8, it's got to be Emerald Fennell's Saltburn. I love this movie, dude. I love this movie. I'm a huge fan of Emerald Fennell. I think this is her second film. She did A Promising Young Woman in 2020, which I absolutely loved. That was one of my favorite movies of the year. I think she won an Academy Award for the screenplay for that. She's back writing and directing this one as well. Here's the setup. A student at Oxford University finds himself drawn into the world of a charming and aristocratic classmate who invites him to his eccentric family's sprawling estate for a summer never to be forgotten.
Interesting.
Starring Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, who played Elvis and Priscilla, and Archie Madekwe, who plays who's the lead in Gran Turismo.
Oh shit! Okay,
it's so good.
I have heard that it's really good. I have heard all about the bathtub scene.
There's more. It is a depraved film that I mean I understand that. It kind of Chloe one. I do understand that. I think it did. It's kind of like it feels like the American Psycho for our generation. It's maybe that's even giving too much, but
I was like, damn,
it's very good. I think the excuse me. I guess I don't know if I want to say too much without giving anything away, because I understand that point of view. But I think as things kind of come together in the third act, I understand more what the film is trying to do with that character.
Yes.
So I understand, and there's a lot of criticisms with this film that people have pointed out.
Yeah.
And I understand them. But ultimately, I love this film, and I watched it here on my couch, and I gave a little clap after.
Nice.
It was fantastic. I think all the performances were great. It was tense. It was funny. It was sad. It was gross. It was weird. There's a lot going on here, and I definitely highly recommend checking it out. It's on Amazon Prime now.
Yeah, I do plan on watching it. I don't know when, but sometime soon I'm going to watch it because I got to see this thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely worth seeing, and I definitely want to talk to you about it. Just saying.
Great. I more meant Barry Keoghan's dick in this movie, apparently.
You see a lot of his dick.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? I saw this weird review on Reddit. Where someone's like, "This movie, I like weird stuff, but this is so weird, and blah blah blah, and this and that, and like, there's so much stuff happening, it didn't make sense, and plus his dick was small, and I didn't get it." And I was like, first off, I mean,
small.
I don't know.
I heard. I haven't
not
seen
true.
It, but I heard that it was like impressively big because people were like, he didn't wear a prosthetic.
See, I didn't know that, but like, I mean, I'm not here to judge anybody's dick size, but like, good for him. But also, it's like, what a weird criticism.
Yeah,
what a weird criticism. And everybody commented underneath it is like, "You okay? To see somebody?"
Apparently.
But I loved Saltburn, man. I loved it. I think it's kind of an eat the rich film, and I really fucking liked it. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I definitely do want to see it. Okay, my number 7.
Yeah,
you're gonna be mad at me. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, I didn't see this. What?
I know, but it's because it's a fucking superhero Marvel film that
I don't care.
That reviews were not great for, but I really liked it. I thought it was great. I don't think it deserved any of the hate that it got.
Okay.
I think it furthered the overall Marvel storyline better than anything that had come out since that Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
I think it's the best Marvel film since Spider-Man No Way Home.
No kidding.
Yes.
Interesting. So I don't know anything about this. I can't be mad at you because whatever. If people love superhero movies and that's your top 10, good, great, that's fine. I don't give a shit. But I do want to know one thing. Is Paul Rudd cute in it?
Paul Rudd's always cute.
Isn't he?
Why don't you ask a hard question? Chloe won. No, I didn't like it because the others were trash. I like it because it was good. just because the bar is low for what's good in Marvel these days doesn't mean anything.
That was a straight call out, dude. Damn.
No, I thought it was good. I thought the story was good. I thought the action was good. I thought the CG was good, except for one. MODOK. You don't know what that means at all, but basically, a guy gets crushed into he's basically just a giant head.
Okay.
And that CG looked very wonky. But other than that, I thought everything was great. I thought the character arcs were good.
Okay.
Introductions and stuff to new characters were good. I liked it.
Right on, man. And yeah, I guess I don't feel like, have there been a lot of superhero movies?
The character was really Cam.
Like coming out this year?
There's technically yes.
Okay. I guess I feel like there haven't been like massive tentpole
Marvel
ones.
wise. No, there's only 2, and there was 2 or 3 DC movies.
Oh yeah, I heard there's an Aquaman that's out right now that I think is tanking
super hard. Yeah,
but isn't this like the last of those before they start the new thing? They're just kind of like Okay.
Oh, speaking of the DCU, which is not the DCEU, which is ending, but the DCU.
Okay.
The James Gunn universe.
Yeah.
Apparently, he asked Matt Reeves to have the Batman universe be a part of the DCU, and Matt Reeves was like, no thanks.
Good. Yeah. Good for him, dude. Good. I think Matt Reeves knows what's up. He had a very distinct vision for the Batman.
Yes.
Which both of us loved last year.
Loved it.
And I'm glad he's keeping it separate. It's just kind of like the Nolan films were kind of kept separate, and I'm glad they were.
Yes.
Those were also kind of standalone. There wasn't a lot of crossover at the time anyway, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I'm not mad at that. Okay. Mostly because I don't know what that is.
I have a feeling you would be if you saw it.
So my number 7 is Poor Things, the Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Only number 7
that we saw. Yes, I loved a lot of movies this year, man. Poor Things is fucking great. It's the Yorgos Lanthimos, the latest Yorgos Lanthimos outing here, starring Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo. It is fantastic. So here's the setup. The incredible tale about the fantastical evolution of Bella Baxter, a young woman brought back to life by the brilliant and unorthodox scientist, Dr. Godwin Baxter.
Yes.
Dude, we saw this together.
We sure did, with our buddy Icky.
Yes, we've seen a number of Yorgos Lanthimos films together. Actually, this is probably the third. One. But yeah, Emma Stone is fantastic in this. Basically, she's like
very good.
A baby brain implanted into an adult body, and she grows. Mark Ruffalo is hilarious.
Mark Ruffalo is really
the most funny I think I've ever seen him. Willem Dafoe is in this. He's so good. Rami Youssef is so good in this movie.
Yes.
He blew me away.
I have to say that the marketing for this movie is not what the movie's about at all.
That's a theme that has
the reason why I can say that with such confidence is because 3 people walked out of that movie when we were
This is exactly what I was going to get to. This is another one where there's a number of walkouts, and which I do understand. It's a 2 hour and 21 minute film. It's not a traditional storyline.
No.
None of Yorgos Lanthimos films are.
True.
It's very weird, but also the most straightforward of his films, I'd say, narrative-wise. It's very bizarre, to be very clear.
It's very, very bizarre. And
it's basically a Frankenstein film.
Basically, yeah. It's a new, fresh take on Frankenstein's story, basically. And I loved it. I will get to that later. Mine's a little bit higher than yours.
Okay, great.
Rating on this one.
We loved it.
Very, very good movie. My number 6.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, wow. Fucking whoa. Wow.
I really thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
That's up there, dude.
It's up there, dude. I really, really enjoyed that movie.
Holy cow.
I thought I was going to be so pissed at Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Because,
I got over it.
I got over it really quickly because they explained him not having the Italian accent in the first 15 seconds. So you're like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Plus, Jack Black crushed it. Peaches, 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 peaches.
Dude, so good. So good.
He plays that live now, by the way. I don't know if you know.
Good for him. Good for him. I love Jack Black.
Yes. But I thought it was fun. I really liked how they did a little bit of side-scrolling in it.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
I fully agree. There's a lot of fun little references that I think added to the film. Because sometimes, with these properties, they, force things in. Like, hey, remember this? But I think they integrated those elements well, and they worked with the plot. It was just a very fun film, a fun family movie. I loved it.
Yes. I don't think it needed to, you don't need to go with kids or people who have kids or be I thought it was fun just to be fun,
I fully agree. Also saw this alone in a theater full of kids.
Yes.
So I'm on a list.
Same.
For me, again, it was in my entertaining films that I enjoyed. Not quite top 10, but my number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
You're on 6, yes.
Thank you. Is The Holdovers.
Okay.
The Alexander Payne film starring Paul Giamatti. We saw this movie as well together here in the old apartment. Here's the setup. It's a comedy drama. A cranky history teacher at a remote prep school is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a troubled student who has no place to go.
Sounds like it'd be boring.
It sounds like it'd be just like a boring drama.
It was not.
It is so funny and so heartwarming.
Very good, yes.
This is a great Christmas film. It's not... it takes place over Christmas, but as we talked about, thematically and stuff, I think this is a fantastic Christmas film.
Yeah.
Alexander Payne delivers an incredible film here. Paul Giamatti was so good. Divine Joy is so good in this. Her character is fantastic. But also... introducing, I guess, Dominic Sessa.
He was really good.
As Angus Tolley, the kid. This is his first on-screen performance ever.
Fuck off.
This is his first. He's only done theater productions, and he was found locally and cast in this film.
Damn.
Isn't that amazing?
That's fucking incredible.
He is so good. He's fantastic in this film. I love it.
Yeah, he was really, really, really good. We can go and talk about this. Mine's a little bit higher. I'll just tell you my ranking when we get there. But I love this movie. It left me feeling heartwarmed after. We were laughing a lot.
Yeah.
I was enthralled the whole time. I really, really enjoyed this movie. And I am so shocked that was his first performance on screen. It
is so good. If you guys don't know, Alexander Payne also did the film Sideways with Paul Giamatti. He also did The Descendants with Clooney. Probably 10, 11 years ago, which I loved. I loved that movie when it came out. I thought it was so good. And so he's delivering another top-notch performance here. And I love this movie. This is a big recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely me too. My number 5.
Yeah.
TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
I freaking love this movie. Mine's a little higher, but it is on my list up here. But let's talk about it.
So I really, really, really love the animation style of this one. I thought it was significantly better than Spider-Man, both Across the Spider-Verse and the original one.
I agree. I fully agree.
I thought it was so much fun. The characters were played by actual children, which I thought was fantastic. Seth Rogen is really surprising the shit out of me when he's making these movies.
Dude, yeah, because he's a producer on this film, and it's fun. It's heartwarming. The animation is great. The music, I love the music.
So good.
It's a Trent Reznor score, and I listened to it on the way home from the theater. I was just like, I forgot it was a Trent Reznor score, and I think I leaned over to you, probably 15 minutes in this movie. It's like, this music fucks, dude.
Yeah,
this is so good.
Yeah,
and then when the credits came up, I was like, oh yeah. And I still listen to the soundtrack often because it slaps. I love it. It's so good.
Interesting.
I love it. Everything about this just made me feel like that's. I feel like you just saw a great movie.
Oh yeah.
When it's over, we were both thrilled when we saw this. We saw it together in the theater.
Yes, it was very, very, very good.
Dude, it's just I couldn't get enough of this film. I've watched it again since, and I continue to talk about this film all the time whenever it comes up.
Interesting. Not interesting you talk about it, but interesting that it was it seemed like it was marketed towards kids.
Yes.
But it was not.
No, I mean, it was marketed towards kids, but it's not just a kids movie.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
I remember every single preview was for super young kids.
Yeah.
Every preview was for a G-rated kids movie, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I loved this movie. It's even higher on my list. So
okay,
if you want to chill for a second, I actually do need to use the restroom before I burst.
Oh my God! Just piss yourself like an adult.
I left my diapers on.
Yes. So we're getting into our top 5. Blake's gonna hit his 5 after the bathroom, but I would say that I was a big Ninja Turtles fan. As a kid, thanks to my my brother Mark, and my first. I talked about this when we talked on stream. Actually, when we first watched the movie earlier this year, my very first memory ever was of me and the neighbor girl who was a year or 2 older than me. I can't remember. Her mom was babysitting me. My very first memory was of us trying to steal her older brother's Ninja Turtles action figures to play with them, and we got caught by her mom who was vacuuming. We tried to do that little kid thing where we're hiding them behind our backs, like, you can't see it, it's not there. And it didn't work. We got in trouble. But I'll never forget those little action figures. And it was back in the day when action figures could only move, like this. They had no dynamic movement at all, no like hip movement, no like elbow movement. It's just one arm up and down, and it was really cool. But I really liked Blake and I talked about this. You can really distinguish between the characters of Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo. Oh my God, I can't talk. Michelangelo and Leonardo, and yes, Jeezy, they definitely had no private parts, but both in the movie and the action figures.
Did we talk about this as well because we streamed about this one, and I was like, I think this was the first time in any of the Ninja Turtle movies that like I could remember which one was which.
Joe was just saying that that you could differentiate between the characters, because in the live action one, well, it was live action. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes. In the live action ones, you couldn't tell. They all looked exactly the same, just with different headbands on or eye masks on. Yeah, and they sounded the same. It was exactly the same all the way across.
No, for sure.
So yeah, it was great that you could differentiate in this one.
No, for sure. I loved it. Big recommend from me, and we'll get to mine. But my number 5 film is a movie called Infinity Pool. By Brandon Cronenberg. I saw this. This is probably one of the first movies I also saw of 2023. I saw this in theaters with Brandon Cronenberg and Mia Goth taking questions, and this movie it's fucking depraved.
Interesting.
It's so good. I love this movie. Stars Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, and Cleopatra Coleman. Here's the setup. James and M. Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in the fictional island of Latoka, when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of hedonistic tourism. Reckless violence and surreal horrors happen. Ensue. Basically, dude, it's so Chloe, if you're on here, think of like the depravity of Saltburn, but like turned up like 200%. It's fucking messed up, and I loved it. Essentially, I don't know if this is a spoiler necessarily. Maybe it is. Watch this movie.
Calm down.
I love this movie so much, and like people were definitely weird about it online and didn't know what to think of it, which I understand. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's an art film, but it's just so dark.
Interesting.
It's so messed up. It's very violent. It's very funny, but like not in like a ha-ha kind of way.
Yikes.
It's darkly humorous, but Jesus Christ, dude, see this movie. It left me shook for
I remember
quite
you
a while.
talking about it when you saw it.
Yeah, this movie messed me up, and I literally think about it all the time. It comes up in my brain more than is probably healthy. But you guys should definitely see this movie.
Wait, so because it's so intense, Chloe, you're not going to watch it? And that thus giving you a break from me and goth movies? Is that what that means?
Do you like other movies more when Mia Goth isn't in them? And I wouldn't call myself necessarily a big fan of hers. I still haven't seen X or Pearl, which I want to see, but everybody's unhinged in this movie. It's so fucked up. I want to see it again, like right away. Well, now that I'm talking about it, I'm very excited about it. Anywy, that's it. It's Infinity Pool. Go see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. We'll see. I like depravity.
I think you would enjoy it. It's definitely a lot of commentary.
I don't think anything's worse than Green Inferno with gore.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Infinity Pool is necessarily the most gory. It's just more depraved. And by that, I mean a bit transgressive. Yeah. Just the surrounding scenarios. I don't want to give anything up because I think it's definitely worth experiencing. Okay. I highly recommend it. It's fucking weird, man. And if you're in for a weird, dark, and kind of depraved and strange time, but also some laughs in there occasionally, okay, go watch this movie. Go watch it.
Great. So add it to my list. My number 4 was The Holdovers. So we talked about that already, but I think it was one of my more enjoyable movies. The way it made me feel afterwards, I definitely think.
Yeah.
That's my number 4 for sure.
Yeah, my number 4 is a film I saw twice in theaters, which you can never get me to do. But I did. I saw it both times in theaters with Icky on here. It's a movie called Past Lives.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Which is a romantic drama. So we're taking a left-hand turn here. This is directed by Celine Song. Here's the setup. Nora and Hae-sung, two deeply connected childhood friends, are wrestled apart after Nora's family immigrates from South Korea to the United States. 20 years later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront notions of love and destiny.
Oh, shit.
I literally have goosebumps. This movie is so good. It's essentially a romantic drama, but done in a very realistic way. It's funny, it's sweet, it's endearing, it's heartbreaking. Isaac and I cried together.
I remember you guys telling me about that.
We did, and it's a very moving film that I really, really loved. And so all you haters out there from the A Walk to Remember and what's it called? That episode, the Notebook, the Walk to Remember Notebook episode. I do like romantic films, and this is one of them. It's so fucking good.
I don't want to spoil anything because you guys told me kind of the ending already.
Yeah,
but you don't actually.
What do you mean?
They're not the same. It's a different kind of romance.
Well, yeah, because the Nicholas Sparks movies are so.
I mean, obviously that too, but I can't say anything. I'll have to wait till we're off mic.
Fuck off. Fuck off, Chloe. How about that? I love this movie. It moved me so much.
Everyone coming in clutch.
I think I understand that. There's a number of movies I wanted to like. I understand. Yeah. I had no idea what to expect of this movie, and I fell in love with it.
Interesting.
Man, a puddle. I cried with random people in this fucking theater. The lights turned on. We're all looking at each other, just tears stained. I was like, I don't know. And we was like, do we all start a group together? Is a therapy session? I don't know. But anyway, Past Lives, you should go see it.
Interesting. Well, I was thinking about it, but now. Oh yeah.
No, I understand because the first time I saw this, Chloe, I was like, oh, I kind of felt it, but the second time it hit even harder, and that's when I cried. So, if that's anything for you.
Speaking about movies that Chloe Wan did not like, my number 3 is Oppenheimer.
Oh, wow. Okay. Right on, dude. I love Oppenheimer.
Yep. That's my number 3.
We did a Barbenheimer stream about this as well.
We sure did. I really loved everybody in that movie.
Yes.
big fat meh from Chloe. It's okay. We're all wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
So I thought this was RDJ's best performance of his entire career. I think Cillian Murphy, right?
Yes.
Okay, Cillian Murphy fucking crushed it. I always get his name wrong. That's what that was about for anybody.
Yeah. It's a running gag.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed the use of effects to show when Oppenheimer was freaking out about things. It was not too long. I thought it was going to be too long. It was not too long. I did not feel bored at all or like restless at all. It was just really, 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 really good. And I got to see it with you guys again. One of the movies I saw with both of you and Isaac.
Yeah.
I think it was my number 3. Only because there was 2 movies that I enjoyed more.
I feel you. It's a little higher on my list.
There was movies I enjoyed more than that.
Yeah, I understand that. It's a little higher on my list, so I'll kind of give mine a little more when we get there.
Sure.
But I fucking loved the movie. I also saw it twice in theater. I never see shit twice in theaters, and I've seen multiple movies twice in theaters this year.
I will say that there was some discourse online about how there should have been more, Asian representation in this movie. And it's like, no, because this movie was not about the plight that the Japanese went through after we fucking annihilated.
That deserves its own movie.
It absolutely deserves its own movie. But this movie was not about that. This movie was about the man who created the atomic bomb.
Yeah, and the nuances of that.
Yes.
Because he's not a hero.
No, God, no. And also, like...
Exactly.
Yeah, he does suck.
Newsflash.
He sucks. And they just barely touch on the dropping of the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They don't even really... they don't show anything. They don't dwell on it. It's a radio broadcast, and that's it.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. My number 3 movie is TMNT Mutant Mayhem. We already talked about it at length. I love this movie. You should see it. I think it's for anybody who has a soul and likes good music.
And fun action films.
And turtles, if you like nature.
Love turtles.
You might like this.
I have a pink turtle shirt, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. I wear it to work all the time. And without fail, somebody's always like, turtles.
Yeah. So, Dave, give me your number 2.
My number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Wow.
Yes. I thought it was, by and large, the best Marvel movie to come out since... I think that, personally, for me, I think this was even better than Spider-Man No Way Home.
Fucking wow.
Yes. It made me fucking weep. I watched it twice in theaters.
Yeah.
It was so emotional. It was such a great way to close out the story arc of these characters. It had funny moments. It had sad moments. It had moments that made me feel just on like a deeper level. And hey, it was the first, until Deadpool, but it was the first Marvel movie to say the word fuck.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It was brilliantly done. It was so fucking funny the way they did it.
I had no idea.
It's so good. It's Chris Pratt. Star-Lord has to explain to an alien person how to get into a 1970s vehicle. It's like you press the button and get in, right? And she can't work the fucking door handle, and she's like going back and forth, like, how do I do it? And he's explaining to her through a closed window, and then so she finally gets the latch, and then she's like, now what? He's like, get in the fucking car. So...
That's great.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Yes, thank you, John. It was the very first MCU movie to cuss, at least to say fuck. And I don't know. I would watch it again right now, honestly.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think I did see the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which I did enjoy. Yes. But I don't keep up often with the Marvel films.
No, you don't.
But I'm glad you liked it. I heard a lot of people really like this film. But
so good.
That's wild. That's this high up on your list. It must be good. Maybe I'll check it out, Dave.
Very good. Yes.
Heck yeah. My number 2 is Barbie from 2023. Yeah. I fucking love this movie.
Yes.
I saw both Oppenheimer and Barbie on the same day. I did the Barbenheimer double feature.
Yep.
We streamed about it.
Yep.
And I have nothing but great things to say about this movie.
Yes.
It's
as do I.
It's so good. It's impeccably written and directed. Greta Gerwig, of course, and wrote it with her partner Noah Baumbach, who we also talked about one of his movies, White Noise, that came out last year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also starring Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
But Barbie, what is there to say really about Barbie that hasn't been said or talked about this entire year? I fucking love this movie.
So good.
And it was one of my favorite theater experiences this year too, because everybody's dressed up and everybody's clapping. And I think I said this on our original stream, but there was another, like, there's one part when after Barbie had her big speech, you know, it goes quiet and there's this little girl in the theater and she goes, "I love you, Barbie." And I was like, It was so cute. It was so wonderful.
It was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was emotional. It really touched on topics that it feels like nobody has had the gall to talk about. And Greta Gerwig's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, but I also don't feel like it was like a preachy film.
No, but that's the thing. It wasn't. It touched on all these things, and it did it in that kind of side eye looking into, like, sword, like almost breaking the fourth wall, like, right.
Yeah.
And, you know, as someone who has my whole life benefited from the patriarchy, I really loved seeing a movie about it and showing how negative it is and how we need to fix and change it. And it made me emotional. I cried. And that is why it is tied for number one for me.
We got a tie, people. And honestly, I gotta say too, thematically too, much like Ryan Gosling, as soon as I discovered that the patriarchy was not about horses, I discovered it wasn't really my thing.
Agreed.
Also,
yes,
I'm a weenie.
You are a weenie. It's fine.
But I did love this film so much, and I've seen it a couple times since. And my mom came out. Yeah. Like, my mom's been to LA a number of times, but when we were driving around, like through Santa Monica and different stuff, I was like, oh, look at that, a scene in the movie Barbie 2023. Yeah. We're passing Santa Monica City Hall, a scene in the movie Barbie 2023.
Amazing.
And it's just fun. It's fun for the whole family. Even my nephew saw it, and we FaceTime all the time, and he's like, Uncle Blake, I saw the Barbie movie. I was like, yeah, what'd you think? And he was telling me all these very specific scenes and jokes that he thought was so funny, and I was like, man, even a 6-year-old child understands.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it now the highest grossing movie of all time?
I don't think that's true.
I thought it passed everything.
Let's see. Highest grossing movies. The list. Via the internet. Let's check it out. According to the old...
No, I'm wrong. I was thinking of a different statistic.
Okay. Yeah, because number one is Avatar.
It's in the top 14.
Yeah. It is number 14.
That's crazy. I could have sworn it was higher.
I think it maybe for like an original film, there's something there. But yeah, it did very well.
Very, very well. Anyway, all that to say, it's such a good movie, and you kind of use it as a litmus test for new people you meet. If it comes up, you're like, what kind of person are you? Have you seen Barbie? You have. What did you think?
I just don't like feeling talked down to, you know.
I have people at my place of employment that refuse to go watch it because I'm not going to watch a movie about Barbie. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Have you watched the trailer? They're like, no. And I'm like, stop what you're doing. We're watching a trailer right now. And that person's like, oh, fine, I'll go see it.
It's like guys who won't dip their fries in mayonnaise because they think that's gay or something. Yeah. It's like that's a made up thing. Nobody's ever said that, but no, it's gay. Can't do that.
Can't do it.
I'm too not gay to do something like that.
We're now to the point. I said the Barbie is my tie for number one, which means there's a movie that it's tied with.
I've literally been trying to rack my brain to figure out what the fuck you're talking about.
Poor Things.
Oh yeah.
Tied for number one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I fucking love that movie.
Hot damn. I do too. I fucking do too.
So much so that I told Chloe that we have to go see it. I want to see it again. We're going to go see it. It left me, like, the whole time I was basically just like...
Yeah, it is.
And then I was laughing, and then it's just like... It's also a commentary on... I don't want to get too much into it, but it's also a commentary... that I don't think any Peter is really done that well, anyways.
Yeah.
It's very, very strange and goofy. Yeah. Not goofy, but it's strange, and the visuals are crazy, and the acting is great. It's just... Yes. Yeah. And Chloe asked me before stream, okay, well, which one do you like better between Barbie and this one? I can't. I literally tried. I can't.
Fair.
They're both equal to me as my number one. I literally can't make up my mind.
That's totally fair. Poor Things is so good, and it's another movie I think about quite a lot, and I definitely need to go see again because it just... I mean, it's so good.
Yes.
It has so much to say, and like through the absurdity of the plot, it can touch on so many different things and explore so many different things over its runtime. And it's not like a traditionally plotted or structured film, but to its benefit.
Yes. Definitely to its benefit.
I fucking love that movie.
And we saw it with Icky,
yes,
and he had seen a Yorgos film before, but he didn't remember. So
he was very confused.
It was very confused. It was hilarious, and I'm so glad that I had seen some Yorgos films thanks to you beforehand. And I would say two of my now... I don't know if I don't like put a number on it, but two of my favorite movies that I have seen are now Yorgos films: The Favorite and Poor Things.
I need to rewatch The Favorite as well.
So good.
I don't think I've seen it since it came out, but it's such a good movie.
So good.
And Olivia Colman won an Oscar for that performance
She
too.
crushed it. Emma Stone was the only non-British person on that film.
Oh yeah, that is true. Dude, it was...
She crushed it.
So fantastic.
Oh my god, who's the other lady in that one? Olivia Colman, Emma Stone, and who else?
Oh, Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's so
everybody
good,
crushes
dude.
it in that fucking film. It's so good.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, she's fantastic. Excuse me. For me, my number one film this year is Oppenheimer. It was very close between Barbie and Oppenheimer. I think what pushed me more... Excuse me, sorry. What pushed me more into Oppenheimer territory was... I'm a masochist. It just made me feel like shit. It made me feel really terrible. In a way that like had me like thinking about a lot of things. I mean, Barbie also made me think about a lot of things, but it was a joyous experience and stuff. But Oppenheimer kind of fucked me up a little bit, and had me it had me kind of going down the rabbit hole for a bit. He's just such a shitty dude, and but also, but it's not that simple, you know. Because like
there's nuance for sure.
There's so much nuance to it, and every character does have that nuance, and you don't really like anybody, but you also understand people. But some of those sequences, the sequence that when he's talking at the podium, and it's kind of like things are kind of shaking, and we see the people and like their skin melting off. It made me cry in the theater. It was such a visceral experience, and it hurt me.
Yes.
It hurt me emotionally.
Definitely.
It was a lot, and there's a lot to dive into, and a lot of huge themes that it was dealing with. You know, it's a Christopher Nolan film, and a lot was explored. And I think Oppenheimer just had to just edge it out just a tiny bit. Okay. But I think you should see all of these films.
I agree. I think that movies, for me, first and foremost, a movie has to be fun.
I disagree.
I think it has to be fun.
Okay.
I don't necessarily mean fun in the happy way.
Sure.
There could be all kinds of fun. I think movies that make you feel sad can also be fun.
I would say engaging for me. It has to be engaging.
Oh,
sorry. Auto mod.
Autobot. Gotcha. We don't. We don't allow links, apparently.
Oh, hold on. Okay, it says... Past lives, I saw the trailer. The subject matter is interesting. It seems like the film played with a racial angle as a plot point. How did you feel about that? If
weird.
Both male characters were Korean, would you still have gone to see it? Oh, yeah, for sure. So my... that's actually interesting. I don't know why it...
Oh, it's because you didn't put you put point dot how, and that just automatically
thought it was a link.
Thinks it's a link. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Actually, no, that is interesting, and yes, I would have. So my second favorite film of last year was a Korean film called Decision to Leave, which I also saw twice with Icky, because it's. We've talked about this on the stream a number of times. A lot of some of my favorite films of the past handful of years have been Korean films, because Korean cinema in general has nailed tone, like the good Korean cinema, like Bong Joon-ho and like and a lot of these even these indie creators are nailing this tone that Americans like can get a hold of but aren't given to in the mainstream. No. Like films like Parasite and stuff, but Decision to Leave was so fantastic. And so with this film, it was recommended to me. I think I'd maybe heard something about it, but it was recommended to me by Isaac, and I looked up what it was about, and I was like, oh, interesting. Like I like to see stories from people I don't know that much about. I've been learning more about Korean cinema over the past couple of years as well, and it's like there's so much to like, even though it does play with a racial angle. It does. Well, sorry. Let me rephrase. It doesn't really play with the racial angle in a way that like it plays with the cultural angle more than anything, because the main character, her husband, is like just a white like Jewish guy from New York and stuff. She's married and they have a great relationship, and then she's reconnecting with this guy who is like her best friend in Korea, and it's more so just a cultural difference thing because she's been in the United States for so long, but they still have this deep connection, and it's really good. It explores a lot, and I highly recommend it because it just has a lot to say, and it talks about a lot of things, and it really challenges you as an audience member because it doesn't just tell you what's right or wrong. You know, it really pushes you to think for yourself about how you would feel in this situation. Because I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. All this stuff is very subjective.
Well, I think I can't speak on that movie. I have not seen it, but I will say in the broader sense, I think you were right. I meant to say engaging. The movie has to be engaging to be good, but a movie that is engaging and then makes you feel something that you weren't intending to feel, I think makes it next level. And that's why my top, I mean, technically 5 because I have my number 1 tied, but my top 5 movies all made me feel something that I was not intending to feel before I went into it. So
and you know, honestly too, looking back at my top 10, all of these movies, I'm realizing all made me feel, literally all of them made me feel something different than each other. Like all of them gave me very different feelings. They're all very different kinds of movies, and they all made me feel something very different. That's a great point. Also, John, I didn't see that the Golden Globes created a new category called Cinematic and Box Office Achievement.
Okay, first of all, let me just real quickly, because we don't have much time left, but who made the most money? That's who wins.
That's so stupid. I'm working at the Golden Globes this year.
That's the only way, because as far as I know, out of all these movies, I don't know how much Taylor Swift Eras made, but
a fucking lot.
But I think Barbie still made the most out of any of these movies. Barbie wins. If any movie but Barbie wins the Box Office Achievement Award.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I don't understand. I'll have to look into this because I guess. I don't know if there's nuance to that category, but
if
really
my movie makes $1.45 billion, which is what Barbie made roughly, and Oppenheimer, which I don't think broke $1 billion. No,
it didn't make. I mean, it made good money, but it didn't make Barbie. It wasn't Barbie numbers.
No, if they were to win that over Barbie, if I was Greta Gerwig, I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Are you serious? How do you do that? How do you say we made a new category, cinematic and box office achievement, and we're not going to give it to the one who had the best box office achievement?
Dude, the Golden Globes are whack.
That's the one category that can be done by numbers and people can know ahead of time. Like literally how.
Bro,
whatever.
Trash.
Whatever.
Absolute trash.
Whatever.
But yeah, those are our films for the year. And so I don't know if you want to quickly do this. There's a fucking slate of movies coming out next year.
Let's do it real quick. Yep.
So we'll run through this. Oh, okay. This is a good question, Jeezy. So Scream and Renfield were both on my most disappointing list.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to see Megan.
I didn't see Megan. I didn't want to see Scream 6.
But Scream 6, I loved Scream 5. Excuse me. I love Scream 5. Scream 6 felt like it was kind of stretching it just a little bit too much for me. I did enjoy the film, and I love the Scream franchise, but I felt pretty disappointed in it. Mm-hmm. And Renfield, I also loved a lot. Dave fucking hated it.
I hated Renfield.
I liked a lot of things about Renfield, but it definitely fell short of what I think the concept could have achieved. It could have been so much greater,
but it wasn't.
And it just kind of fell flat in a number of arenas.
And if you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
So, okay. I have a handful of movies I want to see in 2024.
Yes.
I'll just fucking rattle through them. If
you
that's
go
cool
yours,
with you.
I'll go mine, and then we'll do movies we're not excited about.
Okay, do you want to bounce off each other?
Yeah, back and forth.
Okay, number one for me, I guess, whatever. These aren't in any specific order. I want to see Dune Part 2.
Same. I got that one.
Can't fucking wait.
Yeah. I want to see... I'm going to lead up to my number one most excited. So
okay.
I want to see Beetlejuice 2.
I have that on my list as well. That looks interesting.
Yes.
I have a movie called Mickey 17, which is the new, speaking of South Korean directors, it's a new Bong Joon-ho film starring Robert Pattinson.
Nice.
So I'm very excited for that.
Yes, that's added to my list. I don't even remember what it's called, but I'm going to see it.
Mickey 17.
Got it. Cool. Twisters.
I have that on mine too. The sequel to 96 Twister. but I have this on my list more so in the kind of train wreck. Like, hopefully it's good. Mm-hmm. I want it to be good because I love the original Twister. So I have to see this. But
Twister 2. Now there's more of them.
There's so many Twisters.
Okay, so now it's your turn.
Oh yeah. I have Civil War, the new film by Alex Garland, which looks like it's going to give me a panic attack.
Sure.
I've seen 2 trailers for it recently this week. So Alex Garland being Ex Machina.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Annihilation, and our one of our favorites from last year, Men.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yes.
It's a movie about Civil War in America.
I'm just going to follow whatever you want in terms of movies we see this year. But
that's fair.
Next movie I want to see, Despicable Me 4.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I want to see that. Are you kidding me?
I have that on another list.
Just like for fun. Like, that's not like a cinema. I love Steve Carell and that.
Listen, whatever. More power to you.
Fun.
I have Furiosa, Mad Max.
Yeah, I almost put that on my list, but I just don't care. Like, I will see it. If you want to go see it, I'll go see it with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll have a good time, but I just don't care about the series.
I'm not a huge Mad Max fan, but Fury Road... It's fucking awesome.
Did not see that.
It's so good. I mean, it didn't it win Best Picture?
Was that Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that one.
Yeah, it won Best Picture. It's so good.
Interesting.
So there's also an Untitled Alien film, and the only reason I'm not a huge Alien franchise fan necessarily, but this is directed by Fede Alvarez, who directed Evil Dead 2013.
Gotcha.
And I think he's a fantastic director with a great eye, and so I'm really excited to see what he does with that franchise.
Cool. You're gonna hate this one. A Quiet Place Day 1.
I have that on another list.
I can't wait to see it. It's post-apocalypse, and hopefully this one's not bad. I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
Don't hold your fucking breath, Dave. My next one is Joker.
I have that on my list. Folie à Deux.
Okay. Here's how I feel about this. I think the first one, that's all we needed. I don't think we need a sequel, but I'm morbidly curious about this film.
I'm not happy that it's a musical.
I don't really care about that.
I'm very unhappy about that.
I just don't think we needed a sequel, personally.
Either way. Yeah. I also would like to see Roadhouse.
I have that on mine too. Yeah. the Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle Roadhouse.
Yeah. That looks like it'll be good. I'm down to 2, so if you want to rattle off a couple.
Okay.
I'll do my last 2.
Yes, I have 3 more. Nope, 4 more. I have Terrifier 3 on here.
I have that on another list.
Because I think it's... I don't really want to see it necessarily, but I can't help it now. I'm going to have to. That's why.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with
fuck
it.
you.
That's where I'm at with the Terrifier
hate
franchise.
It.
I understand.
Hit me one more.
Okay. Another one I have is It Follows 2.
Is that coming out next year?
Supposedly. So I don't know.
I'll see that.
But supposedly, but mostly because I love the original It Follows, but it's with our original director and our original
Actress,
lead
right?
cast. Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'll probably see that with you. My number 2 most excited movie for next year, Spaceman.
Oh,
It's Adam Sandler. It looks like it's another serious movie, and he's a space traveler.
I've seen about this, but I don't know nothing about it, so it's on neither of my lists.
It doesn't. The teaser trailer we have gives us no story.
Okay.
Basically, so I don't know anything about it either, except for that he's a space traveler and it's Adam Sandler doing a serious role. So.
Well, I'm not above. Some of my favorite films are Adam Sandler in serious roles.
Yes.
So
Comedians in serious roles, I tend to gravitate towards.
Interesting. My second. These are my definitely 2 of my most. Looking forward to films. Second being Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Oh, fuck. Why don't I have that on here? That's next year? I thought that was 2025.
That says I read next year, but maybe it's 2025. Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that, too, yes.
Finally, some closure.
All right. My last one, and then we'll do your last one.
Yes.
Deadpool 3.
Oh, that's on a different list.
I'm most excited about that. I'm so excited about it because it's his introduction into the MCU. Okay. We have had a lot of stinkers MCU-wise, and I'm ready for a non-stinker.
Okay.
And it's already, no spoiler alert, it's already over the fucking internet. Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, is in this one.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this on a stream months and months and months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very
for
excited.
sure.
Set photos have already come out, and he looks so good.
Disturbing. My most anticipated film for next year is Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. I think it comes out on Christmas Day next year.
Interesting.
I fucking love Robert Eggers, and Dave does too, even if he doesn't know it. Robert Eggers is the director of The Witch, but also the director of The Lighthouse, which film we saw together.
Yeah.
So Nosferatu, I think, starring Willem Dafoe. Anya Taylor-Joy is in it, I believe, and we're just going. We're going there. We're going there with it.
Great. I'll probably see that with you. Let's. I only have 4 movies that I felt were worth putting on my not excited about list because there were so many that I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But these one got a visceral reaction out of me.
Yeah.
So are there 4 that you could narrow down to?
No.
Okay, great. So how many do you have?
A few, but I can rattle a bunch.
Rattle a few off, and then I'll do mine. Yeah.
First off, Mean Girls.
Same.
Why?
Fucking why?
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 I saw the trailer just the other day in the theater, and I was like, "Oh, is this going to be like a different story within that?" No,
nope. They just remade it.
They just remade it, but it looks way worse. Why would you do this, Tina Fey?
I don't understand.
If you needed to pay your rent that bad, just ask for a loan.
Why couldn't you do a sequel?
I know there's so many. That's what I was upset about the most. There's so many stories you could do within this universe or with this framework, and you didn't.
That looks so stupid.
What's you? You got one?
I think you just rattle off a few more because I've only got 4.
Well, looking at yours, I have a few more. I saw a trailer for this recently, the Jason Statham film, The Beekeeper. It looks I kind of want to see this because it looks hilariously bad.
Yeah,
it's
look really bad.
You ripped off this old lady. You scammed her and she killed herself. I'm a beekeeper and now you're fucking dead. And so it's just so I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop, the new Axel Foley adventure with everybody who's old as shit. We got Eddie Murphy doing Axel Foley again. Mufasa, The Lion King.
What?
Who cares? Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Why? Gladiator 2.
I don't.
Why? Venom 3. I don't care.
Another
Saw sequel.
Fuck off.
Deadpool 3, because who cares?
A lot of
Dave. There's
a lot of people.
Transformers 1. A lot of these have numbers attached.
Yeah.
Transformers 1, Despicable Me 4, because how many of these can we do? A Quiet Place Day 1, because, bro, we get it.
Don't talk about this one until I get to it, because I want to go off.
Yeah, for sure. Bad Boys 4, who cares?
Fucking whatever.
There's a John Wick spin-off called Ballerina.
No.
And then also Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We're still getting these. We're still getting Ghostbusters movies.
Yeah. Mean Girls we talked about on mine.
Yeah.
Terrifier 3 because I fucking hated Terrifier 2.
Understandable.
It was so bad. I still have not forgiven you for that.
Understandable.
Winnie Pooh Blood and Honey 2.
There's a second?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier in the stream. It's got Tigger in it, remember?
Oh, yeah. You're right. I blacked it out already.
Not fucking stoked about that. We're going to watch it.
We're going to have to watch it.
We're going to have to watch it. I hope you guys understand that.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. And then finally, the movie I am least excited about and, quite frankly, angry about.
Yeah.
Garfield.
But not just Garfield.
No. Chris Pratt Garfield.
Chris Pratt's Garfield.
This movie looks... Honestly, I can't even comment how it looks because as soon as I heard Chris Pratt's voice, I was like...
No. God damn it.
Because, listen, him as Mario is different because Mario has a distinctive voice. Everyone knows that he's a distinctive accent.
Yeah.
And Garfield has a distinctive tone of voice. Mm-hmm. It's always a lower tone. He's always a low tone, kind of slow, almost slow talking character because he's lazy.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt does none of that. He's just Chris Pratt. He's just talking like Chris Pratt talks.
It's I mean, whatever. I'm not a Garfield purist here, Davis. I'm not, but I'm just like, what are we gonna have Chris Pratt voice next? Are we gonna have him voice all the Pokemon characters?
Probably.
It's just you play Pokemon next.
Hey, I'm Pikachu.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? I'm Pikachu. Hey guys, ow! Wow, you captured me. I'm down 30 hit points. It's just like, dude.
No, neither. GZ. And John, you're absolutely right. Lorenzo Music has got to be the only voice of Garfield, or anybody who can emulate even close.
Bro, no, actually, I'm taking the bait. If it was either Garfield or another Jurassic World movie, I think
if Colin Trevorrow was not the director and they didn't make this one about fucking bugs, I would pick the Jurassic World movie.
No, I think if it was all those things and worse, I would pick the Jurassic Park movie because I think with Jurassic Park Dominion, it was the most fucking bonkers mainstream movie I'd seen in forever, and I laughed so hard throughout that film.
Can't do it.
It is almost so bad it's good film for me. So I think I go with Jurassic World.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I told Chloe this when I first saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Something that you probably don't even know about me. I love Garfield. I have loved Garfield my whole life. I had, remember the Scholastic Book Fairs?
Yeah.
Money I spent, always Garfield books.
All Garfield.
I had probably 25 Garfield books as a kid.
Yeah.
And I read them all over and over and over. Anytime I see, which is not often these days, but anytime there's a comic section of a paper, I will only read the Garfield one, and most of the time I'll be like, I love Garfield. The fact that they're letting Chris Pratt potentially fucking ruin this character. Ooh. I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping I watch it. I'm like, okay. You're gonna get one more, Chris.
I don't really care.
But I don't think it's gonna happen
so much about Heathcliff for sure. I don't really care so much about Garfield. I just think it's funny that Chris Pratt is now I think Chris Pratt has been jailed behind the scenes, and now the only work he can do is voice acting. So they fish him on microphone and say, "Hey."
I think Chris Pratt is about to, or is in real time. We're seeing the Kevin Hart effect of Chris Pratt, the Kevin Hart / The Rock effect, where it's like, fucking enough. You hit that like nice guy terminal velocity, and it just turns on you at some point. It's like
we get it
because Kevin Hart was doing everything.
Yeah,
he was in every single movie for years, And then you saw people were like, all right, enough Kevin Hart. And now he's got a new movie coming out maybe this year. Or no, obviously next year. It's a heist movie. And I got 2 seconds in the preview. I was like, don't care.
So actually, I've heard... so I used to work for Vibe magazine years ago, and I covered a couple Kevin Hart film premieres.
Yeah.
And we talked with him one time, and the guy Milan talking to him was like, "Hey, like you're in a shit ton of movies. Like why have you decided to like just be in like say yes to everything?"
Nope.
And like what he said was interesting to me, and something I hadn't really thought about. But he's like, "Listen." He's like, honestly, like there's not a ton of like roles for like short black dudes. He's like, so when people ask me to be in movies, I'm gonna say yes until they stop asking me to be in movies, because I don't know when this train stops.
I've heard him say that.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Not that he turns in great performances every time, by any stretch, but I was like, I can see at least the rationale. Whereas I think The Rock is more of an ego thing.
Oh, it's an ego thing for sure. But I think either way with Chris Pratt, people are just tired of him.
I'm tired of him.
We got Chris Pratt fatigue.
You know, I love Parks and Rec a lot, but I don't feel any need to like go rewatch the series or anything like that, because I'm just like I did it. I'm over it. I don't need, and it's not just because of Chris Pratt, but like we've seen it.
I would read. That's one of the series that I would rewatch. I used to rewatch all the time, actually.
Yeah. I not for me. No. I like it more than The Office. That was definitely my thing, but I definitely wouldn't rewatch it. I'm over that.
Fair enough.
And speaking of being over,
yes, this stream is over. I'm hungry.
We've put in the work. We've put in the work.
Over
Dave.
2.5 hours, almost 3 hours.
We're almost hitting 3 hours. We talked about a lot of movies. Dave.
Yes. If I hear your voice for any second more than I have to at this point, I'm start punching babies.
Listen, Steve, run.
Not fur babies.
Okay, thank you.
Chloe would dive in front of Taco Steve.
Thank you. As would sure. I. But GZ, John, thanks for sticking around, guys.
Chloe, thanks for
as always
sticking around.
Yeah, thank you all. And if you guys are watching this on the YouTubes later, if you made it this far, wow.
Why?
Go do anything else.
Go home.
What are you doing? No, thank you guys. I don't know what our stream schedule is going to look like in the new year. We're kind of like adjusting some stuff with the show. Might be back to streaming. We don't know yet, but we're not going anywhere.
Nope.
My lease is not going to be terminated anytime soon, I hope.
Well,
no. I didn't see Napoleon. But
wait, that came out this year? I thought it was next year.
No, it came out already. But I have. It's not so much an issue with the film necessarily. I'm not a huge Ridley Scott fan when he does historical stuff. To be perfectly honest with you, I think he's a great director, but kind of a shitty dude. And he has
Fair enough.
I've complained about Ridley Scott takes on this show many times about his Blade Runner takes on his own movie are the worst fucking takes on a movie he made. But I am interested in Napoleon, but it isn't one that I rushed out to see, but I probably will get to it. So we may talk about it
probably
at some point, because I do want to see it. I heard Joaquin Phoenix turns in a great performance.
He's been really crushing it.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'd go see it for that. But short of that, Dave, where else can you find us?
Well, we have our podcast proper, and that is anywhere you can get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We're there. We're also we got the video version on YouTube.
Yes, you can watch the show and some of these streams as well, including our older streams on the YouTube. Give us a subscribe and follow and like our fucking whatever.
All of
I don't know.
Help us only do this, please.
Engage the algorithm.
I need you. I hate my life.
Dave needs you.
Help me.
My cat's hungry. For the love of God, you sick fucks.
Yes.
But for real, thank you guys. We always love seeing you all in here, and we love doing this. So more stuff to come. As always, have a fantastic New Year.
Happy New Year.
Be safe, and let's watch. Okay, I did 191 movies this year, Dave. What am I shooting for next year? I'm gonna be more employed next year, hopefully. Less than, let's go 200. You know, it's incremental, but all right, Dave. Dave's bank account just crashed. So he's out of here. Anyway, bye.